HD TVs, and a smoke-free video poker bar, there's no better place to be for sports entertainment. Join us at TAP Book Bar and Bistro, only at Beau Rivage. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
ESPN Pensacola is your home for UWF Argos football. Catch every game, home or away, on Pensacola's home for local sports. The Argos head to Rome, Georgia to take on Shorter University Saturday, September 14th, with airtime starting at noon. Hear all the play-by-play action right here on your home for Argos football and local sports. ESPN Pensacola 1330, FM 99.1. UWF football is presented in part by Summer Vista Assisted Living.
It's almost fall, and that means football. And ESPN Pensacola 1330 is all about football. We've got UWF Argos football every Saturday, high school football every Friday night. If you'd like to partner with ESPN Pensacola as a sponsor or promotional partner, give us a call at 262-6000.
ESPN Pensacola 1330, FM 99.1, WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
This is Sports Call. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Sports Call. It's Saturday. That means it's time for football talk. Football season is finally back. For those of you who tuned in last week and you heard national programming, Justin and I both were away doing assignments, so it's good to finally be back in the studio. Even the week before that, I was in Orlando doing the Florida-Miami game, covering that for ESPN. So the fact that we finally get to be back in the studio, life is back to normal for us. Also, this is the first time that you and I are actually doing a show together as Sports Call with Davis and Justin.
Yep. I couldn't be more happy, man. It's college football. First time doing this. Man, I'm ready. Let's do it.
And just another programming note for next week with UWF kicking off pretty early, and they have a 30-minute pregame show. We're actually going to have a 30-minute show next week, but that's cool because then we can kind of turn our show into a UWF pregame show. Yep. So it's like the pregame show to the pregame show before the kickoff show, so you know how it is. This is ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM, and we're going to be talking about everything football today. That's it. Maybe get a glimpse of some baseball in there because we are getting close to playoff baseball. But really, it's all football today. And we got to start with the guy who can't seem to find himself out of the news. And at this point, he doesn't want to be out of the news. Like he's addicted to the news. And that, my friends, is Antonio Brown.
Yes.
So where do we even begin?
There's so many places you could start at. I mean, you could go from the feet, you can go from the helmet issue, or you can just go from the way he just calls out his team on social media. I mean, you could go from anywhere from there. I mean, there's just so many things you could do with this guy. I mean, he just loves the spotlight, no matter if it's good or bad. I mean, if you go and watch this guy's YouTube video of him posting his phone call with John Gruden, his head coach, I mean, if you just listen to the music and the video that he's playing with the music going, I mean, it's just like, is it a soap opera or is it as a football player?
He could be in a soap opera.
He'd be a great.
He needs to bring back the golden mustache.
He could be in Empire if he wanted to.
The terrible crustache. He could be on Empire. He could replace Jussie Smollett.
Yeah, he really could.
That's perfect. Anyways, Antonio Brown is just a completely non-ending saga. So let me start from I guess this week, right? So finally, after this whole dispute over the helmet issue, he finally lands on a helmet, the Zenith, right? And I used to work at a sporting goods store. I used to work at a sporting goods store where we would sell these Zenith helmets, and they were brand new. They were supposed to be like the revolutionary helmet to help with concussions, and that's what Antonio Brown lands on. Everything's good, right? Nope. And now he gets fined because he's missed practices. He's skipped out on team events. Like any player would get fined, just like that Antonio Brown gets fined. And he takes to social media, Instagram. And sure enough, that causes a rift within the management where Mike Mayock ends up, him and Mike Mayock get into a giant thing. Now it's turning into, okay, looks like he's getting suspended.
He's threatening Mike Mayock.
And then John Gruden just yesterday goes to local media and he says, expect him to play on Monday. They're playing Monday Night Football against the Denver Broncos. Expect him to play, which I actually was surprised because I thought he was going to at least get one day, one game. I didn't think it was going to be more than
I didn't
three.
think that was going to happen. I think it was either going to cut him or he'll play or they'll try and resolve this. He did apologize, but then when you pull something like that, you post a phone call with your coach and then you get people making it look like it was a bad phone call. I mean, it was just really uncalled for. Like we finally resolved this thing and then you brought it back to life. Like you actually went out there, made a whole YouTube video to bring this thing back to life. You really did this to yourself. I mean, first of all, you were going against the NFL. You didn't like the NFL, what they did to you. Okay, so that's why you missed practice and you missed all this and you weren't communicating with your team. And so your team has to give you the consequences that you deserve. And then you get upset about that because you did that to yourself. You deserve those consequences. You have to pay the price. And then when you lose your money, you get upset. You're posting phone calls with your coach. You're calling out your team. You're cussing out the general manager. You did this to yourself. And
so now and again, you bring up the point that he has a heartfelt apology to his team. Apparently it was emotional. He was crying. He really was sorry. So so he's playing Monday now, it looks like. Are we good now? Nope. This morning, Antonio Brown takes to Instagram again. So because him and Mike Mayock apparently got into a very bad verbal altercation that allegedly Antonio Brown said he wanted to, quote, punch Mike Mayock in the face. Like, I want to punch you in the face. Allegedly that happened. So after that riff happened, he was fined upwards to over $200,000. After that, he takes it to Instagram and says, Raiders, release me. He also he said other things, but at the end, he said, Raiders, release me. And then breaking news, and I'm not just saying.
Literally just as soon as we came on air, it popped up on our phones.
This didn't happen an hour ago. This is literally breaking news. According to the Raiders have tweeted out, the Raiders have released wide receiver Antonio Brown from the team today.
I think that's probably the smartest decision they've made all season.
It needed to happen. I think that there was really no recovering from this one. And it's also sad because John Gruden from day one was defending him, getting emotional over him.
He was doing everything for this guy, sticking out his neck completely. But here's the thing. Your teammates, after all this, they probably don't want to play with you. Imagine they have to do things for you. They have to pass to you. They have to block for you. Nobody wants to do that for a guy who acts like that to his franchise and to his team. I mean, no one wants to play for a guy like that because he acts like the game revolves around him. It's not about his teammates. It's not about winning. It's not about the championships. It's about him. Nobody likes that. Sports definitely aren't about that, especially winning championships. Nowhere near that. You don't need that on your team. So if the Raiders, this is the smartest decision you've made all season. And I applaud them completely because Antonio Brown, I'm just not a fan of. I know about a month ago, I picked him as my winner because he was showing that he was being a good teammate on the sidelines as preseason game. And now I'm just taking all that back completely because I'm just like, you fooled me once, shame on you. Fooled me twice, not happening. Yeah, it's not happening.
It's unfortunate for the Raiders. It's unfortunate for the Raiders fans. They pay this guy. Well, really, they haven't paid him much up to this point. They were going to pay this guy guaranteed $30 million. They were going to pay this guy to be a face of the franchise, to help bring them back to the playoffs, help make Derek Carr a better quarterback again. And now you couldn't get out of your own way because you think too highly of yourself. You think that you are this Jesus of a wide receiver.
Yeah.
You think that you are the almighty receiver that, you know what, you're blessed to have me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not blessed to be here. You're lucky that I am in your presence. They needed to get rid of him a long time ago. They gave him every benefit of the doubt, and in the end of the day, this is embarrassing for Raider Nation.
It really is. And the thing is that I find funny is that in his YouTube video, John Gruden said, you're a football player. And AB goes, I'm not just a football player. I'm a real person. Well, really, in our eyes, it seems like you think that you're a lot more than just a person. You think you're a lot more than just a regular person. You think of you as just this godly like image, and that's not good for you for sports. That's not good for a franchise. That's definitely not good for your teammates to have you to be playing with you because you can't win championships with a guy like that on your team. I mean, he may be the greatest player, our greatest wide receiver today. He's at least a top 3 wide receiver right now, but it doesn't matter if you're that type of player. I thought really similar things with Odell when he was around after that great catch. He was just a lot of flash, right? But see, his last year and then now when he's been traded to the Browns, it's like he's showing a lot of being a team player, and I applaud Odell a lot. He still has that flash, but he's doing the right ways of being a team player as well. He supports his teammates. He gets behind his teammates. He doesn't look for drama. He's with his team. Like, he wants to win championships. So that's what's different between Odell and Antonio Brown.
So I do want to give a quick shout out. My dad and my brother, they're out on the boat, out in the water, having a good day. Lucky. It's okay. We get to host a radio show. That's a pretty cool thing as well.
You know what? Yeah.
So I'll give a shout out to you guys. Also, my brother, he was the one who had texted me letting me know AB had gotten cut, and then I refreshed my ESPN page, and sure enough, there was the notification that, according to Twitter, AB has been released from the Oakland Raiders. So that's where we are now. It's been a weird spiral for Antonio Brown. And it's so self-inflicted that I don't feel bad. I feel bad for
I don't
Raiders
feel bad
Nation.
at all.
I feel bad for Raiders Nation.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
nothing to feel bad about Antonio Brown. No, none of this had to happen.
See,
and then also, like, his feet. Like, that was another thing is that
he did that to
if
himself.
it wasn't him.
If you pay attention to the rules for once in your life, maybe this wouldn't have happened. Like, just think about that.
You think that you have to do everything your own way to where you even get frostbite on your own feet because you wear your own footwear and do a cryotherapy machine. That's not how that works.
No.
That is not how that works at all. And now it probably also was an innocent mistake on his part. If I'm going to give him any kind of benefit of the doubt.
He probably wasn't paying attention to
because
I'm pretty sure they would warn him, hey, wear this before you get in that because then your feet will have frostbite. And your feet are pretty important to you because you're a wide receiver. A lot of wide receivers will say they'd rather get hit up top and get an arm injury than their legs because their legs, that's what makes their money. Let's be honest.
So Antonio Brown, he's released. Is he going to get signed to another team this season?
Probably.
He will. I believe he will. I have a hard time believing he's going to sit out the rest of this year. Actually, he will.
Who?
He will sit out the rest of this year if the money isn't there.
Yeah, but
in,
I like Jacksonville. But I don't know if he'll go there because it's just he's like Miami or Los Angeles type guy. He wants to be somewhere where it's like it's Hollywood, baby.
I don't think he'd go to the Chargers because I don't think he would work well with Phillip Rivers.
No, he would not.
Because Phillip Rivers would be too much like Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, they're vets.
He doesn't want that.
They're vets. He wants to be the vet. He wants to be the top guy. He doesn't. That's why he like Derek Carr because he's a younger guy than him. He's been playing longer than Derek Carr. And then Phillip Rivers and Ben Roethlisberger, they're the vets. Like they know what they're talking about. Yeah, he wouldn't go well with those guys. But now when you look like the Rams, Jared Goff, I mean, like he's a young guy too.
I don't
like that either. I don't like that either.
I just don't see him meshing well over there.
Jacksonville, I see it there.
Like Seattle could be interesting. I think Seattle might be a fun environment for him, but I don't see that.
I don't see Pete Carroll.
I don't see that. I don't necessarily. The thing is, I could see him working with a guy like Pete Carroll.
Well, okay, yeah, you're a little bit right because Richard Sherman there, and then also
like
Earl Thomas.
Like Gulf Breeze's own Doug Baldwin. Like even though nowhere near Antonio Brown, Doug Baldwin himself has a pretty big personality. I'm not gonna say attitude, even though he did show signs of having an attitude, and especially his feelings towards Pensacola. But I don't know where he would go right now. Miami was another team that was in the conversation. That would be kind of a cool place. Playing with a guy like Ryan Fitzmagic would actually be possible. Also, and possibly working with Josh Rosen for the future. The future is up in the air for Antonio Brown. I have a feeling that he's definitely blacklisted to some teams.
I think I just like Jacksonville because Jacksonville needs a weapon like that. And then you also have like. If we're thinking about a team that's good enough or like can have a future where they can do something there with him, I think Jacksonville's the best fit. Miami doesn't have really anything going on. LA and both LA teams, they are just too good of a team. They don't want that drama. I think Jacksonville will take on that drama.
Remember, wasn't it Buffalo? Buffalo was in the conversation to get him before Oakland, and he was just like, Buffalo, you signed me. I'm not showing up.
Yeah, he said no, that's not happening.
Buffalo, if you guys trade for me, I'm not showing up. So good luck with that one.
And see, here's the other thing. He said he's been wanting to be a Raider since day one. All right, if you want to be a Raider since day one, you definitely don't show that. If this is what you've been wanting to be since day one, you would do anything to be that. You would go through hell like to be that. And so seeing him just put this drama up when he finally got to be a Raider, saying that he's wanted to be that since day one, it doesn't make sense. I'm befuddled. Is that a word, befuddled?
You're befuddled.
Befuddled.
Befuddled. It's the word of the day, folks. Befuddled. I'm also befuddled by Antonio Brown. Well, anyways, guys, 623-1330. So now that we're on 1330 AM and 99.1 FM, we also have a new phone number that you can call us. You can still call us at 972-1945, but if you do want to be a part of the show, 623-1330. That's the phone number, 623-1330. Also, we have live games going on right now. We'll give you updates on those as Maryland and Syracuse is going on right now. And this is actually a really intriguing game.
Syracuse is struggling. So here's the thing. Now, Lee Corso did say, if Syracuse wins this game, they will be at that game. They will be there next week. They said they've always wanted to go to Syracuse, have never gone there before. But Syracuse has to win this game. Maryland's a tough team. Now, Syracuse is favored in this game. But Maryland, they beat Howard 79-0 last week. I don't care what team you are. 79-0. That's saying a lot.
Yeah, that's just you're rubbing your face in the dirt at that point. But,
yeah.
No, Maryland is a good team. They really brought it out. Yeah, against Howard. I mean, you put 74 against Howard. I'm really not impressed by that whatsoever. But they're off to a very fast start, scoring in their first drive against Syracuse.
They forced a 3-and-out against Syracuse for their first drive, and now they're looking to do the same thing now.
Yeah, 3rd and 15, 11-12 in the first.
Yeah. And Maryland's got a lot of young talent, especially in the running back position and the quarterback position. The coach still getting some experience as it goes on. They showed a lot last year versus Ohio State. Ohio State, they did a great job. Anthony McFarland, he had an amazing first quarter with 115 yards and 2 touchdowns. I remember breaking down that game, and I was just like, oh my gosh, what's happening right now? Ohio State's getting blown away right now. This kid was running all over Ohio State, had about a 200-yard game. I think he set the school record for that game. I think
fumble, and Maryland recovers.
Fumble on Syracuse's own 32, and so now Maryland has the ball on Syracuse 32.
And we're also getting a phone call here. Justin, we'll get that here in just one moment. Other games going on in the football world. We have Iowa. They're beating Rutgers 7-0, currently in the first. Michigan and Army, they kicked off about 10:50 to go. Army has the ball. Oh, by the way, this game between Michigan and Army, I think Michigan is favored by 17 or maybe more than that, 22 points. Yeah, if you're in Biloxi today, I would definitely consider Army, strongly consider Army. So I would strongly consider Army. Also, Ohio State and Cincinnati, they got underway not too long ago, and Ryan Day saying that they want to continue to get their fast-paced offense going. So we'll give you updates on that and more games. Also, there was a NFL football game on Thursday. That means NFL football is officially back. We're gonna talk about that game probably coming up next hour. Also, UWF played on Thursday as well. We'll tell you how that game went. That's all coming up more and more on Sports Call with Davis and Justin on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
I'm really hungry, but I don't want to spend a fortune.
Well, you're in luck. Now you can get Denny's Super Slam with 2 eggs, 2 bacon strips, 2 sausage links, hash browns, and 2 pancakes, all for just $5.99.
That is a great deal. So I get all of that for just $5.99?
You sure do.
Wow, this meal just keeps getting better and better.
Some might say super.
I see what you did there.
The $5.99 Super Slam is back. See you at Denny's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. No substitutions.
There's a lot going on right now, and broadcasters are on the ground covering all of it, bringing you the weather, the traffic, and breaking news, all while entertaining you 24 hours a day. Someone needs to tell you what's going on around the world and in our hometowns. And that someone is us. We are free radio. We are always there. We are broadcasters. Visit wearebroadcasters.com or text radio to 52886 to learn more. Furnished by NAB and this station.
Just felt there's a huge need in Pensacola to bring foot and ankle services, specifically orthopedic foot and ankle services, to this area. There's so much growth in Pensacola. I wanted a freestanding orthopedic foot and ankle center to do this, and as far as I can tell, this is the only one really in the country that's freestanding. Most orthopedic surgeons are part of a multi-specialty group. So we offer on-site x-rays, on-site CT scan, and on-site MRI. They can come to one place.
Visit NielsenOrthopedics.com to reserve your appointment today. Dave Ramsey here. A home is a great investment. And whether you're buying a home to live in or as a rental property, great floors are a must to keep up that investment. The Floor Store on 9 Mile in Pensacola has great brand name flooring like Mohawk, Cortec, Dreamweaver, Shaw, and more. Plus, the Floor Store sells and installs wood floors, tile, luxury vinyl, and carpet. And they do showers and baths, kitchens and backsplashes, mosaic tiles, and fireplaces. The Floor Store's designer, Andrea, loves flooring. She designs your flooring to create the biggest impact and durability. But when you buy flooring, you might want it installed right. And that's where Rodney comes in. He came to the Floor Store bringing over 30 years experience as a residential contractor. The right quality, the right design, and the right installation. The Floor Store, located at 312 East 9 Mile Road. Check them out at shopthefloorstore.com.
Well, you want to see a Broadway show, but New York City just isn't in the cards.
Broadway's coming to you. Get your tickets now for the 2019-2020 Broadway season at the Sanger Theater. See amazing Broadway touring shows like Jersey Boys, Cats, The Color Purple, Beautiful, An American in Paris, and Waitress for a third of the cost you would pay on Broadway. See actual Broadway shows right here in downtown Pensacola. Get all the details at PensacolaSanger.com.
At ESPN Pensacola 1330 FM 99.1, we are football. Catch the biggest high school football games on Fridays, every UWF game on Saturdays. Then on Sundays, get ready for big games with the NFL Tailgate Show from 10 till noon. Plus, talk football with Coach K weekdays from noon till 1, recapping the games and breaking down the upcoming matchups. It's football season, and it's on ESPN Pensacola 1330 FM 99.1.
ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. We're talking really just football today. I mean, yeah, baseball season's getting close to an end. The Blue Wahoos, by the way, they won yesterday. They're going to keep their playoff hopes alive. They're going back to Biloxi tonight, and they're going to be playing around, I think, around 6 o'clock, 6:30. You can hear that game on here, just like you can hear all games. But, yeah, it's still an elimination game for him. Yesterday was an elimination game, but to get that big win at home for the Blue Wahoos, that was crucial. So good game, 3-2. Jordan Blazovic, he's one of the top pitcher recruits, or not recruits, but prospects in the MLB. So for him to get his first AA start with the Blue Wahoos and pitch well, that's always something you want to see, especially for the future of the Blue Wahoos and really the future of the Minnesota Twins. If you're now an adopted Minnesota Twins fan, I'm still a Rays fan. Go Rays, and we won yesterday 5-0. But anyways,
go Reds. Yeah, we. Nowhere near the playoffs.
That's right. We do have a Reds fan here. Yeah. And that would have worked out for you. You know, when the Blue Wahoos were still under the Reds affiliate.
You know, the Reds are still young right now, and I couldn't be any more happy for how they're doing. Like Joey Votto, he's getting older, which kind of makes me sad because he's been the guy we've been trying to build off of for as long as I can remember now. Like he's been that guy for us. But the Reds are getting better and better as years go on. They have a young rookie prospect who's just breaking records with hitting home runs in just less than 100 at-bats. I mean, the guy's doing crazy. And then we also have Luis Castillo, he's just a great pitcher.
Great pitcher. Tyler Mahle, Tucker Barnhart, some of these former Blue Wahoos.
Tucker Barnhart, he's doing a great job.
The Reds can be a decent team. Moving forward, you know, they had a good system with the Blue Wahoos. They co-won, I should say, a Southern League championship. But anyways, we have college football games going on. Maryland just scored another touchdown. Again, Maryland, they're a fast team.
Oh, this team is going to score quick. They like to move quick because they like to try to keep their team off balance. And you got to love that about Maryland and their coaching style, because if you can have a good run game going and keep plays being consistent, you can do a lot with that type of ball play. I mean, so Maryland, they're a dangerous team, and they can make a lot of moves in the Big Ten. And I'm excited to see what they can do. I have Maryland winning this game. I'm just going to say that right now. I mean, I would like to see Syracuse win because game day at Syracuse next week, it'd be pretty cool to see. But I think Maryland's too good of a team. I know a lot of people picked Syracuse to win this game. You know, they're ranked number 21 in the nation. I think Maryland's actually underranked.
I think Maryland's underranked, even though you can't really tell what kind of team this is going to be because you blew out Howard. So, but Mike Loxley, first-year head coach with Maryland. He's a former head coach, but first-year head coach with Maryland. Came from the University of Alabama. He was their offensive coordinator last season. Maryland got off to a really hot start, so we'll keep an update. Keep an eye on that game. But a game that we do want to talk about, of course, the big games that we're going to be talking about later are LSU, Texas, which game day was just at, and then also Clemson and Texas A&M. Those are the two biggest games to look out for this today on Saturday. But I do want to go ahead and talk about Ohio State against Cincinnati. The game is going on right now, and as far as I know, I'm waiting on an update.
It's 7-0 right now.
It's 7-0 Ohio State. Okay, so they just had the ball and they scored a touchdown. Justin Fields, he's one of my preseason Heisman favorites.
He had a 7-yard run for a touchdown.
So I mean, Cincinnati was a good team last year, but
they're still a pretty good team. They beat UCLA last week. UCLA last week.
I'm not excited about that.
Okay, but
I'm not excited about them beating UCLA.
It's a Group of 5 team beating a Power 5 team. That's always something to be excited about. Boise State beat Florida State. All right,
Yeah, and that was and I'll mention that. We'll briefly mention Florida State here in a little bit because you can hear that game on our sister station, News Radio 92.3, starting at 4:00. Dude. Florida State, oh my God. Oh, we won't even get into it.
I don't want to get into it.
We won't get into it right now. I do want to get into Ohio State and Cincinnati. So this game is currently underway. Ohio State has the lead at the moment. I have Ohio State winning this ball game. Yeah. I know normally we save our picks for the end of the game, but these games are currently going on right now, so we'll talk about them. Justin Fields off to a good start, 4 for 5, 35 yards, already scored a rushing touchdown, 2 carries on 19 yards. What I'm really more looking at is how dominant is this offense going to be for Ohio State as they're being led by Justin Fields? Because I think he will be in New York at the end of the season. We have a long way to go, but if I can go ahead and get excited about him,
he'll definitely be a semifinalist.
If I can get excited,
there's still some other competitors. You still have Trevor Lawrence, Tua, and then Justin Herbert as well. I mean, there's a lot of guys, and then Jalen. The way Jalen played last week, Jalen Hurts, just most yards ever put up by a quarterback in Oklahoma debut with 508 yards, had about 300 something, and a plus 150 in the rushing yard, and he was accounted for 6 touchdowns, which was absolutely insane because Houston's a pretty good Group of 5 school. I'll give them that. They're not like the best one, but they're a pretty solid team. So playing like that against Houston's really good.
And Jalen Hurts, 6 touchdowns accounted for. I thought he had a great game. Like, Jalen had a great game. That's a great first game to have when you start your career at a new school. He's a graduate transfer. This is the only year he's going to be playing. He definitely has that chip on his shoulder, even though he has a lot of love for Alabama. He graduated from Alabama. He avoided the red shirt. Like, he played football and gained the love and respect of a nation, including Alabama. Like, even after he left, it was like, still, man, good luck wherever you go. We are so happy for you. Thank you, Jalen, for your services to this team. Like, he did exactly what Kelly Bryant could have done.
Yeah, well, he could have done it.
Like, Kelly Bryant could have had a ring, but no.
He's the most rooted for player in the nation. He has to be. Like, everyone wants this guy to win. They want him to do good. And look at the way he was after that game. Yeah, he did great. They beat Houston pretty well, but the thing was, he still wasn't happy. He wasn't satisfied, and you gotta love that in him as a competitor and a quarterback and a leader. For that type of energy coming out of him, that says a lot. He says, "Yeah, we're still not done. I'm not happy with the way he played. We still have a lot to fix and change." That meant a lot to me, and I'm happy to see that from him.
So Justin Fields, he's a very talented athlete, a very, very, very talented athlete. And I finally saw QB1 not too long ago that featured him and Jake Fromm. Dude, this kid is a good kid from Kennesaw, Georgia. I was actually in Kennesaw not too long ago hiking up a mountain, and damn, I'm out of shape. But, dude, this Ohio State team is intriguing to me. I think they're going to be a fun team to watch. They have every opportunity to be a playoff contending team. Every opportunity to be a playoff contending team. But I was on – okay, so I also do a podcast with some friends of mine, and we did an early podcast this morning. Ohio State is that team that they can be a favorite in any game they play, but then they will lose to the most unlikely team. Yep. Purdue was that team last year. Now, Purdue had quite the motivation. You know, I feel bad that I'm forgetting this kid's name at the moment, but he passed away. But he had cancer.
I think it was
Tyler something.
I think it was like Tyler Trent or Tommy.
Trent. Yeah, Tyler Trent. So Tyler Trent, he was when he was still alive and battling cancer, and definitely in the later stages. That was a big motivational game.
Their emotions were running very high in that game, and see, no one took that into consideration for why that was such a big part of why Purdue won that game. You know,
they were awesome that
game.
game.
Yeah, exactly.
They were awesome that game.
That's the thing. No one else thought about that when I'm thinking about that game. And see, that's why it was just put as this big blemish on Ohio State's record. But I think that was a big reason for why they won that game was because of him. And their emotions were running so high. It was just a huge motivation. That's why they just came out the gates like on fire.
Another thing I had mentioned. So I love talking about spreads. I love talking about the over and under. Like I'm a guy who's a big fan of that kind of stuff. So I said earlier this morning, keep an eye on Army Michigan, because if I'm picking a team to cover, I think Michigan can win this game, but I think Army will cover.
They're up.
Army is currently beating Michigan 7-0. Now it's early, 5 minutes to go in the first quarter, but this is a good Army team, a team that runs the triple option effectively.
I love the triple option. I love
it.
I love just what you can
Michigan, they tend to struggle against teams like this.
They come out very slow. I think Michigan will still win this game, but they will come out very slow, as they usually do. And see, Army, they have to know how. If they want to win this game, they have to know how to bounce off that. They have to know to keep going with that, because a lot of teams don't make the mistake with Michigan. Ohio State didn't make this mistake last year. They knew they had them down. They kept going. They didn't let up. You have to know that you have to keep Michigan down. Like you have to keep going.
So Army winning 7-0 over Michigan right now. 5 minutes to go. They have the ball. In Syracuse, they're down 14-0, but they're charging. They're on the 9-yard line in Maryland territory. Quarterback takes the snap, throws to the end zone, wide open in the end zone. Touchdown, Syracuse. So that game right now, 14-6. Maryland still with the lead. Extra point coming. We would imagine that extra point will be made to make the game 14-7. So on that note, we will take a quick timeout, because coming up at the end of this break, Will Kennedy, he's the voice of the UWF Argos. The Argos took on Carson Newman on Thursday in Carson Newman, and it ended up not going their way, and Will Kennedy is going to come on the show and talk to us about that. That's coming up and more on Sports Call with Davis and Justin on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Pensacola Beach explodes to life this weekend as the P1 Aquacross Race to the Bahamas Tour comes to Pensacola. The top wave runner, Sea-Doo, and jet ski riders from around the world will compete to be the #1 racer on the planet. September 7th and 8th for the P1 Aquacross Race to the Bahamas qualifier. Racing starts at 10 a.m. next to the pier. It's free and family friendly. For more info, go to p1aquax.com.
Bowling is a sport that will last you a lifetime, and at Cordova Lanes on Airport Boulevard, every night there is something exciting happening. Like on Tuesday and Thursday, it's penny a pin. Bowl 100, pay $1. Or how about starting your weekend off right by reserving a lane for just $25 at Moonlight Bowling. Enjoy a fresh-made pizza and the lowest pitcher prices in Pensacola. So what are you waiting for? It's time to roll your way into Cordova Lanes and experience fun like never before.
There's a lot going on right now, and broadcasters are on the ground covering all of it, bringing you the weather, the traffic, and breaking news, all while entertaining you 24 hours a day. Someone needs to tell you what's going on around the world and in our hometowns. And that someone is us. We are free radio. We are always there. We are broadcasters. Visit wearebroadcasters.com or text radio to 52886 to learn more. Furnished by NAB and this station.
Pensacola Honda and Gulf Winds Credit Union are teaming up to give you a great deal on a new or used vehicle and a great rate. Friday the 13th and 14th, enjoy live music on Saturday 12 to 4 and food trucks here on both days. All credit applications accepted. Any type of credit welcome. Get a really nice new or used ride at Pensacola Honda, home of the one price, low price guarantee. Rates, terms, and incentives subject to change and based on credit score. Visit GoGulfWinds.com for loan details. Federally insured by NCUA.
Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. How about we add Sunday to that list? It's the NFL Tailgate Show at World of Beer.
Your plans just changed.
Yes, they did. Live show, games, prizes, NFL legends.
500 bottles of beer on the wall.
And you can try them all.
And no wrong choices.
Well, trying all 500 week one, that could be a bad choice.
World of Beer. Beer as you have never experienced it before.
Come on, bro. That was my tag. Your NFL party awaits you at World of Beer.
World of Beer.
Really?
ESPN Radio is taking over. ESPN News. You can now watch your favorite radio shows all in one place. From Golic and Wingo.
Oh, yeah.
To the Dan Levitard Show with Stugotz.
All right, I'm available every day. Thanks.
To the Stephen A. Smith Show.
I just don't understand this guy.
To the Will Kane Show.
It's my job to tell the truth.
From morning to night, the best of ESPN Radio is now available on ESPN News.
ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. You're listening to Sports Call with Davis and Justin, and on the line is the voice of the Pensacola, it seems out of Pensacola, but the UWF Argos. Will Kennedy joins us on the line. Will, thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure to be here.
Well, man, so Thursday, the 2019 season gets kicked off for UWF, and against Carson Newman, who we saw last year at home, and unlike last year, it did not go our way this time. It got close, especially towards the end, but in the end, Carson Newman got the win at 20-13. Well, first off, dude, you heard the game on ESPN Pensacola. You sounded great, by the way.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
My first question to you is, Tommy Thrall is like a legend in the Pensacola area as a broadcaster, and then you're called in to be the next voice. So how do you think your first game went?
You know, I had done one game for Tommy last year when he went up to Cincinnati, actually. It was our second game of the season for UWF when we went to Midwestern State out in Wichita Falls, Texas. So Tommy goes up to Cincinnati to basically do his tryout for the Reds. And so I got to do that game. And, you know, it's been a while since I've done a football game. So then you go almost a whole nother year. So it's like falling off a bike. You never forget how.
Oh, so, and you're an experienced guy. You're out of Charlotte. You come into UWF. You're also teaching at UWF, and you're calling the Argos, which you can hear all the Argos games on this station, ESPN Pensacola 1330. So Will Kennedy will have the call next Saturday against Shorter. But let's talk about what happened at Carson Newman. Right from the very get-go, this is a team that runs a veer option offense, and from the very get-go, it just you saw them giving up large chunks of yards on the ground. Although it did result, the first drive did result in a turnover. Defensively, we were giving up chunks of yards.
And it's a tough situation. I mean, you've got a short fall camp for this program, not as much time to prepare as, you know, of course, coaches are like as much time as they can possibly get. But, yeah, to play a veer offense, like you mentioned, very difficult because you just don't see that type of offense much anymore in college football. It's a kind of a throwback to a different era, and they run it well. Carson Newman, the Eagles, have this down to a science. They've got a fifth-year quarterback who really is the trigger man for it. And so you think about it, if you don't recruit that kind of personnel for your program, which obviously Coach Pete Shinnick doesn't, how do you replicate that in practice? And so there's really no way to make your scout team operate like Carson Newman's offense. So they run into that, and really, I think that was on display, especially in the first half, is, you know, defense really scrambling, trying to figure out how to handle that offense, because it's all about discipline. You have to be able to, as a defensive player, watch that quarterback, read what he's doing, and make the right decision. That didn't happen early on. Several times the wrong decision was made. And so really you fall into a hole. They ran for more than 200 yards in the first half of that game. It should have been much worse than the 13-6 score at halftime was, based on just the yardage. So they probably feel lucky to be in that game. They were able to make a few adjustments, the Argos, in the second half, and kind of play a little bit better on defense. Really, the other side of the ball, though, was kind of the issue. The offense never really clicked.
Yeah, 334 rushing yards is what was given up. I mean, you're a veer option offense. You're going to be running the ball more than you're going to be throwing the ball. We beat them in the throwing category, but even though we gave up 334 rushing yards, the Argos were still in the ball game. But offensively, like you had just mentioned, we weren't really clicking there. Let's talk about the quarterback situation. J.C. Robles, the transfer out of Colorado State, gets the start, but we don't see him very often. Austin Reed comes in on the third drive.
Yeah, and that was the plan. Coach Shinnick told us in the pregame, and I talked to him during the week. You know, the plan was JC was the starter. He had won the job during fall camp, but that Austin was going to play Austin Reed. And so you've got a graduate, fifth-year graduate student who's in JC Robles out of Colorado State, who came in. He's from the state of California, so he's got some Division I experience. Started a handful of games for the Colorado State Rams. So his experience, and the fact that he came in the spring, was here for fall camp, kind of had a good grasp of the offense. He wins the starting job. Austin Reed is a redshirt freshman. He's out of the state of Florida, but spent his first year of college football at Southern Illinois in Division I. So two, dynamic kind of guys. You feel bad for JC, at least for this game. I don't think the offense was ready to go, never really looked in rhythm, so he gets two series. Austin Reed, to his credit, comes in, kind of gets things going, triggering the offense a little bit, able to run the ball from the quarterback position quite a bit. And so that got the offense going. And then Austin, go with the hot hand. Austin Reed kind of goes the rest of the way. The offense never really looked great, a couple of decent drives, And really a big mistake here or there. Austin Reed threw an interception on a drive when we were threatening in the first half to score some points. If we get a field goal out of that, another time you get down near the red zone, you don't get any points. I mean, there's a couple plays. Pete Shinnick will tell you, coach will tell you, there's 5 to 8 plays in every game, little things that if they go your way, it changes the dynamic of the ball game. This was no exception. This game was really like that.
Yeah, total offensive yards for UWF, 262 compared to 422 from Carson Newman. Offensively, we're struggling. Defensively, you got to really tip your cap because they kept it close. But we continue to see the struggles out of Austin Williams on his first PAT off the uprights.
It looked like he was trying to. We'll use a golf analogy. It looked like he was trying to hit a wedge shot on a PAT, and he kind of scooped it a little bit, hits the upright, hits the crossbar, and bounces off to the outside. And confidence. Golf and kicking are very similar. A lot of it's mental. It's in the head. Austin struggled last year. Went off in the off season, said he retooled everything, and he's got the leg for it. There's no doubt about it. It's just getting, between most important places, that 20 inches between the ears kind of thing. And I think that's where Austin's going to get the work in this week. It's really a double-edged sword. Because you play on a Thursday night to open the season, you're shortening your camp by a couple of days. The good news on the backside is now you have 10 days until the game against Shorter on the 14th up in Rome, Georgia. So you've got a chance to work on the things you didn't do well, fix the mistakes. Penalties were an issue as well. There were a couple of untimely penalties. There was one drive where Austin Reed, there was some confusion with he and Devin Gibson, the center, and the snap got by him, and that kind of snuffed the drive out. So there's a lot of little plays that obviously can be cleaned up with some practice. And Coach Shinnick told us after the game in the post-game interview, the quarterback position's not set yet. Obviously, they'll go back in. They'll have these extra days because of the Thursday night game, and the two will compete again, and we'll see. I would imagine we'll see both J.C. Robles and Austin Reed against Shorter next week.
And you mentioned Shorter University, definitely a team that UWF has had a lot of success against. Shorter, not typically a strong team, so going back on the road to Rome, Georgia to take on Shorter, you got to favor the Argos in this ball game because then after that they come back home for their first home game.
Yeah, the early part of the schedule really sets up nicely for this UWF football team. And, you were hoping to get up to Carson Newman. And I said this on the radio broadcast on Thursday night. You got to look – Carson Newman's a traditional power. This is a team that year in and year out contends for, if not goes to the playoffs in Division II. They've won national championships at the Division III level as well. Beautiful facility, great program. So to go up there and lose is really, that's not a negative. I mean, you want to win every game, but you look at that. That's a tough game. I think, they're the type of team we might see later in the year if we get into the playoffs. You got this next stretch of 4 or 5 games that are all very winnable games. Shorter has struggled, not just against the Argos, but against everybody. I would imagine, this is the cure for what ails you, right? When you get Shorter on the schedule next, I expect to see a lot of points. I expect to see a lot of different guys play in this game, and you're going to get an angry, UWF football team coming off a game that they lost, that they felt like they could have played better and potentially won. I kind of pity the Shorter Hawks.
Yeah, and this is a game that should set up nicely for UW as they go back home, get a little bit of confidence in them as they take on a team that we've never seen before, Virginia Lynchburg. That'll be an intriguing matchup, but I do want to ask this question. Sam Vaughn, he's a guy who started majority of the games last year after Mike Beaudry had gone down with his season-ending injury. Is he injured, or was his job just beaten out?
Well, Sam got hurt last year. He did. He came in that first game against Carson Newman, and really he was the guy the rest of the way with Mike Beaudry down with that broken foot for the rest of the year. Sam got hurt against North Alabama, and that went up there. He got hurt knee and shoulder, so he's really fighting injuries all year long. The shoulder and elbow actually turned out to be an elbow injury. Turned out to be the big one. He had Tommy John surgery after the season. They were telling him initially it would take a whole year, but he kind of pushed that forward with his hard work and was able to get back for fall camp. And he's been out there. He's probably not 100% yet. And frankly, he's going to have some uphill work to do if he's going to beat out Austin Reed or J.C. Robles. But I would expect to see potentially Sam play this weekend coming up on the 14th against the Shorter Hawks, and probably the next week. These next 2 games, I think there will be opportunity to see your second and third, and even beyond that, string guys play. So Sam's a fantastic kid. He was at the University of Georgia, never got a chance to play in a game for the Georgia Bulldogs, but actually pitched for the Georgia baseball team, sidearm guy. And he's a wonderful guy. He's in grad school, and you hope the best for Sam. I'd love to see him play this next week or two.
Well, so UWF getting off to an 0-1 start against Carson Newman, but hopefully they can rebound against the shorter University Hawks. I do want to ask you, though, I saw pictures when you were on your way to Jefferson City. You made a pit stop in Knoxville, and you stopped by Neyland Stadium. How was that?
That was awesome. I haven't been to Neyland. The last time, this will date me a little bit, the last time I was in Neyland Stadium, I was doing a game, Auburn and Tennessee, when Cadillac Williams, Carnell Williams, and Ronnie Brown were playing running backs for Auburn on that team back in 2004 that went undefeated.
Yeah, the undefeated team.
Undefeated team. Fantastic place to watch a game. And it was really cool to go into it empty like that on a Thursday afternoon because the group that we were with, the broadcast team and crew, had never been there before, the rest of the guys. So they were just kind of in awe. It is really one of the landmarks of college football. And I know it's tough times for Tennessee fans up there coming off that loss to Georgia State to open the season. But really, it's a place, if you're a college football junkie, definitely a place that I would say put on your bucket list of a place to go watch a game.
Yeah, I've had the opportunity to see 2 games at Neyland Stadium, both against the Gators. I'm a Gator fan by trade. And one of them, the Gators lost. This was when the Gators had like the 7-game win streak, and then they were in Knoxville and they lost. And I was at that game, and I will say, be in Neyland Stadium when they finally defeat an arch rival, and that place is a madhouse. So I will say, even though my team lost, it was still a really cool atmosphere to be in nonetheless.
You know, one of the trivia things that I think a lot of people don't realize is because the street is named right outside, one of the streets along Neyland Stadium is named for the guy who actually won the 1998 national title. It was not Peyton Manning. I think a lot of people assume that it was the Peyton Manning team. Those Peyton Manning teams couldn't beat your Florida Gators. Yeah, it was T. Martin out of just up the road in Mobile. So, you know, he's the famous guy up there, and of course is coaching now and at the college level. But yeah, I went to the University of Texas, so I always joke with people from Tennessee that they're actually TU. They don't get to be UT.
Oh, so I did not know that. You went to the University of Texas. Let's talk about LSU really quick before I let you go. Texas, LSU, that's the big game tonight. Matthew McConaughey, as you can imagine, picked the Longhorns to defeat the Tigers. Give me your quick take on that game.
I think, you got 2 teams early in the season, both ranked in the top 10. Expectations are really high for both programs. The question is who handles the pressure of this kind of game. I think LSU's been in more of this type of game in the last couple of years, but I say it comes down to home field advantage in a game like this early in the year. I would go with my Longhorns playing in Austin at home. Obviously, got to go with them too. By the way, I was in school there when McConaughey was in school there as well. We're roughly the same age, but I like Tom Herman. I love the quarterback Sam Ehlinger, and I think this is the Longhorns game tonight. Got to feel that way.
All right. Well, we're going to save our picks till the end of the show, but you've got Texas going, certainly at home at Royal Memorial Stadium. Certainly Texas is the favorite in this ball game. But Will, I appreciate the time. Will Kennedy, he's the voice of the UWF Argos. They take on Shorter University a week from today, and you can hear that game on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM. Will, thanks for the time, and go Argos.
Yeah, we'll be on the air at 11:30, kickoff at noon.
Yeah, you can listen because we have a 30-minute show. We have to cut our show early so we can let you guys take over. No, it'll be fun. Will, good talking to you, man. Go Argos.
All right, have a good Saturday.
All right, 623-1330, 623-1330 if you want to be a part of the conversation. When we come back, we have other college football games that we want to talk about, including Clemson and Texas A&M. We also are going to love it or hate it. That's all coming up and more on Sports Call with Davis and Justin on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM and 99.1 FM.
Does pain have you sidelined on the bench? Clearway Pain Solutions wants you back in the game. Our team of compassionate, board-certified pain specialists, chiropractors, and physical therapists will relieve your pain and restore your function. For comprehensive, patient-centered care, visit a Clearway doctor at one of our convenient locations near you. Call Clearway Pain Solutions today at 855-527-PAIN or visit our website at clearwaypain.com. That's 855-527-PAIN or clearwaypain.com.
There's a lot going on right now, and broadcasters are on the ground covering all of it, bringing you the weather, the traffic, and breaking news, all while entertaining you 24 hours a day. Someone needs to tell you what's going on around the world and in our hometowns. And that someone is us. We are free radio. We are always there. We are broadcasters. Visit wearebroadcasters.com or text radio to 52886 to learn more. Furnished by NAB and this station.
Imagine having a luxury hotel quality bath in your own home. That's what you'll get with Bath Fitter Pensacola. Bath Fitter will install a beautiful luxury tub in as little as 1 day. There's no demo, no mess, no stress. With thousands of options to choose from, custom design a bath you'll love. It's under warranty for as long as you own your home. With over 35 years experience and more than 2 million satisfied customers, Bath Fitter makes upgrading your bath easy. Visit bathfitter.com today to book your free in-home consultation or call 429-1777.
Hey sports fans, we know that we all fumble now and then when we're headed for the end zone, and our vehicles are no exception. Next time your bad ride is a little off sides, take it to Amco Transmission, your total car care facility. And with no interest financing, even with less than perfect credit, you'll drive away feeling as if you caught the winning touchdown. You always make the right play when you take your vehicle to Amco Transmission on Davis Highway, just south of Airport Boulevard. Visit them on Facebook or call 800-GO-AMCO. AA-MCO.
When working at a growing business, you wear many hats. The new business hat, the buying toner for the copy machine hat, the sifting through tons of resumes hat. You can throw away that last hat thanks to Indeed.com. When posting your job, Indeed lets you add screener questions that give you a less time-consuming route to your short list of qualified candidates. So go ahead, dust off that extra long lunch hat. Hiring's better when you've got your short list. Save time on hiring when you post a job on Indeed. Get started today at Indeed.com/hire.
Hey there, I'm a glue stick, so I have one job. I glue kid stuff. So sorry for being jealous of Geico, who does a ton more, like give you 24/7 access to thousands of licensed agents. And Geico has been around for over 75 years and has a 97% customer satisfaction rating. While I've just got mediocre adhesive skills, Geico also has an award-winning mobile app. Uh-oh, arts and crafts time. No eating the glue stick, Miss Lydia.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
This is Davis Allen, co-host of Sports Call with Davis and Justin. Catch Justin, Patrick, and me every Saturday from 11 to 1. College football is finally back, so join us this Saturday from 11 to 1 on ESPN Pensacola 1330 FM 99.1.
ESPN Pensacola 1330 FM 99.1 is all about high school football. Catch the biggest local games every Friday night on Pensacola's home for local sports and our sister station, News Radio 92.3 AM 1620.
Welcome back into Sports Call with Davis and Justin on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 991 FM. All right, we're going to get in some Sports Call real quick, and my lover like it went down a little bit. All right, I want to start off with AB, of course. AB, the biggest drama queen in sports.
I mean, that's kind of
obvious.
Obvious, right?
I love it.
I love it.
Yeah.
So, Antonio Brown gets released. Of course, he asked for it, and yeah, if I'm the Raiders, I'm saying yes, please get away from me.
Yes.
Although I am curious, he was fined by them legally. Is he obligated to still pay those fines? I would say no, but I would want to look into that. I say that out loud. I need to look into that.
I mean, I think it's kind of also a league suspension as well, like kind of like it's league terms as well. And I think you kind of had to if you're signing like, I don't know.
Like, does that affect your credit now? Does that, like, go to your credit score? If you don't pay it, like, you get sent to collections if you don't pay these fines? I mean, because you could have a car payment, right? Yeah. But if you don't make the payment and you just ditch the car and you just no longer drive it anymore, then that still affects you.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll figure it out later. All right. Syracuse is the best competition for Clemson. They are down 21-7 to Maryland right now with 11.5 minutes in the second quarter.
I want to go back and review their schedule one more time. Their best competition, I think, is going to be today, Texas A&M.
Yeah, I mean, I meant for ACC is what I'm saying.
For ACC, yeah, I would say that, but I want to know if they're playing Maryland, because this Maryland team is looking really good. Currently up 21-7, and they still have the ball, and they're moving the field. They're moving down the field. They just got a first down.
Led by I think he's a sophomore now, Anthony McFarland. He's a great running back. He did a lot last year for Ohio State. All right. A QB will win the Heisman this season.
So I want to say yes because that seems to be the trend. You need to be an extremely talented running back if you're going to win the Heisman. I think Derrick Henry was the last one to win the Heisman as a running back.
Yeah.
Keep an eye out
Should
for
have been McCaffrey that year, in my opinion.
Yeah, McCaffrey was really close in that one. I will say, keep an eye out for Jonathan Taylor. Let's see what he does for Wisconsin throughout this season. Many people are comparing him to Saquon Barkley, which Saquon Barkley was a guy that I thought was going to win a Heisman, but he really fell apart at the end of the year that he was his favorite to win.
Yeah, he started off pretty strong, with Ohio State. He was a strong competitor, but he just wasn't winning the big games.
And then obviously Travis Etienne, he's really thrusted his way into that conversation for Heisman talk. So keep an eye out for these two running backs, Travis Etienne and Jonathan Taylor, and you never know who may come along as the season moves.
I mean, a lot of people are looking at Chase Young of Ohio State too, because he's a great D lineman. He had 3 sacks last week versus FAU, which isn't saying much, but still, of all the positions, this is the most heavily favored defensive player if it were to win a Heisman.
Okay.
No defense will keep the Big 12 out of the playoffs this season.
I hate it. I hate it because I think there will be at least one Big 12 team that can make it. It's really a toss-up between Oklahoma and Texas, I believe. We'll see. Texas has a tough one against LSU. That is going to be a fun game to watch without a doubt. But I think that there will be a Big 12 team, and no defense keeping them out of the playoffs. No, might keep them out of the national championship, though.
It will definitely keep them out of the national championship, that's for sure, because they won't get past the first round of the playoffs with no defense. But here's the thing, I just don't think, because now that these teams, they have a lot harder schedule and they're playing teams with defenses, like today's game, Texas and LSU, I can't get my pick yet, but you know where I'm going with that. It's hard to tell because LSU, they have a great defense. They can stop your offense. And then they have a pretty decent offense, and you don't have a defense that really goes up against it. So it says a lot about
I would try and, as we got an ad playing. No, we are not presented by this company, by the way. No, I really like. I think Texas, when it comes to defense, is a better defense than Oklahoma. So we'll see. I know they beat Georgia in the Sugar Bowl last year, but that was a different Georgia team. That was a deflated Georgia team. They thought they should have been in a playoff. They really didn't like the fact that they were in a Sugar Bowl. So we'll see how this game goes. And again, we're gonna wait till the end of the show to give our predictions. What you got next?
All right, Blue Wahoos will force a Game 5 against the Shuckers.
I want to be optimistic. It was a really great game for them yesterday, but if I can go ahead and just be that negative guy, I will say that the Shuckers are going to finish it off at home against the Blue Wahoos.
All right, sounds good. I love it. I think they will force a Game 5. Because it's playoffs, you just gotta go hard, and of course we gotta support the Wahoos. I gotta be for it. Felipe Franks will be competent against Tennessee Martin.
So here's why I worded it that way. So Tennessee Martin is a team that Florida should just be able to beat up on, but Felipe Franks is really he's continuing to make me as a fan nervous.
Yeah.
He is not a quarterback that is really a top quarterback in the league. In the SEC, like people are wondering why he's still the quarterback. First, I'm curious, why didn't we see Emory Jones play against Miami? Why didn't we see a couple of packages? We're going to see that today. We're going to see Emory Jones play. We might even see Kyle Trask play just for fun, because the idea is that Florida's going to beat up on Tennessee Martin. I think that we will see a competent quarterback. I love it. I think we will see a competent quarterback out of Felipe Franks, because I believe against these teams he has confidence and he knows he can play well against these teams. But it's those really good teams like Kentucky I'm nervous about.
Yeah, that's the thing. I can never be comfortable watching another SEC game if I'm Florida now, because we can't be comfortable anymore. Like, if you're an Alabama fan and you go play Arkansas or Tennessee, you're like, yeah, we got this game. But with Florida, I'm just like, I don't know. We lose to Missouri every year. Like, I don't know. Like, what are we going to do? Like, we don't know. That's just how it is. Like, because we're not the same team every week. We're not consistent.
And that game's kicking off, by the way, at 6:30. You can watch it on ESPNU. What we got next?
Antonio Brown will play this season.
So I am going to say no. I will say he will sit out this season, and here's why. So I hate it. I hate it because he isn't going to find the price that's going to work for him. I believe there are NFL teams that have blacklisted him, and they do not want him on their team. And he's going to have too much of a demand that teams aren't going to want to work with him this season.
Yep. This guy is really just like Bryce Harper right now, just looking for the big contract. And see, that's the thing. It's really made me upset lately how players have acted with just trying to think that they deserve the most. Like, it's really selfish how the game's becoming in football.
Your talent can pay you a lot of money, right? Like, obviously, the most talented people are going to make the most money. Their value is a lot greater than, let's say, the guy who is backing up Antonio Brown. You're not going to get equal pay. Obviously, Antonio Brown is a very talented athlete, and he believes he needs to get paid like no other receiver. But here's the deal. Your attitude contributes to how you play.
Yes.
I believe your attitude contributes to your value as a player, and that attitude value is low. That is why I don't think you deserve to be paid as such, is because I don't think your talent is going to go over how great you are as a football player. I think that your attitude plays a huge part in who you are as a football player, and that contributes to your value. If you're going to have a bad attitude, your value is going to stay fairly low in terms of attitude.
Because here's why. Franchises are going to do what's best for them. They're not going to do what's best for you. They want to do what's best for them, and they want to do a little bit what's best for you. But they're not going to give you exactly all this money that you want, because here's why. You're not on every play. There's two sides of the ball for each game. There's offense and defense, and you're not going to. You might see the ball 10 times, 11, 12 times throwing Antonio Brown in a game. It's not every play, and that's why you're not going to get the money that you want.
All right, well, when we come back, we have some big football games to cover. LSU, Texas, Texas A&M, Clemson. That talk is coming up after this break on Sports Call with Davis and Justin.
It's almost fall, and that means football. And ESPN Pensacola 1330 is all about football. We've got UWF Argos football every Saturday, high school football every Friday night. If you'd like to partner with ESPN Pensacola as a sponsor or promotional partner, give us a call at 262-6000.
ESPN Pensacola, 1330 FM 99.1, WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
There's a lot going on right now, and broadcasters are on the ground covering all of it, bringing you the weather, the traffic, and breaking news, all while entertaining you 24 hours a day. Someone needs to tell you what's going on around the world and in our hometowns. And that someone is us. We are free radio. We are always there. We are broadcasters. Visit wearebroadcasters.com or text radio to 52886 to learn more. Furnished by NAB and this station.
Here are the ESPN Pensacola 94.5 contest rules. You can win one prize per household per contest in any 30-day period, unless specified by individual contest rules. All prizes on ESPN Pensacola 94.5 are non-transferable, non-redeemable in cash, nor exchangeable for any other prize. ESPN Pensacola 94.5 prizes must be redeemed within a 30-day period of winning, and you must be 18 years of age or older to win. For a complete list of rules, visit ESPNpensacola.com.
Hey, sports fans, we know that we all fumble now and then when we're headed for the end zone, and our vehicles are no exception. Next time your bad ride is a little off sides, take it to Amco Transmission, your total car care facility. And with no interest financing, even with less than perfect credit, you'll drive away feeling as if you caught the winning touchdown. You always make the right play when you take your vehicle to Amco Transmission on Davis Highway, just south of Airport Boulevard. Visit them on Facebook or call 800-GO-AMCO. AA-MCO.
There's a lot going on right now, and broadcasters are on the ground covering all of it, bringing you the weather, the traffic, and breaking news, all while entertaining you 24 hours a day. Someone needs to tell you what's going on around the world and in our hometowns, and that someone is us. We are free radio. We are always there.
We are broadcasters, your home for Pensacola sports, ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
All right, it's sunk in. Everybody, I know the shock is off. You were so surprised that Antonio Brown no longer plays for the Oakland Raiders. Who would have saw this coming, right?
I was completely blindsided by the fact that it happened. I just
I know.
befuddled.
Like, this show just completely took a turn because of Antonio Brown's release.
I was like,
Who knew?
I thought he was gonna like play out the rest of his days there for his career. They would retire his number. He'd become like a general manager, or like an ambassador for the team. I really thought this was going to happen.
No,
just
man.
kidding.
Well,
That's
looks
never.
like he will have to figure out a way. How's he going to make money, right? No, I think he'll be okay. But will he play for another team this season? Like I said a few minutes ago, I don't think so. At least not right now. So moving forward, we do have some other college football games going on. We're going to dive into the NFL here in a little bit. Quick update: Iowa is beating Rutgers 7-0. Maryland is really taking it to Syracuse right now, 28-7 with 9:19 to go in the second. Maryland has the ball, by the way. Army and Michigan are all tied up now at 7 apiece, and Ohio State, it looks like they just scored 13-0
a 4-yard
against
TD,
Cincinnati.
a 4-yard touchdown rush by Mr. J.K. Dobbins.
J.K. Dobbins, good running back
Great
for
running back.
Ohio State.
Love
and
him.
then Utah and Northern Illinois. I keep an eye on Utah this season, okay? They're really liking Utah this season. This could be a fun game. But there are other big games going on. Nebraska and Colorado, that's a quick game I want to spend just a minute on. Nebraska, they are ranked number 25 in the nation. If they want to hold on and prove that they should be ranked, because right now I still don't believe they should be ranked. They didn't move at all, by the way. No, they moved back a spot in the recent release. In the recent release of the rankings, they moved back a spot, and they're now the 25th ranked team in the nation, taking on their rival Colorado. This used to be a game that determined national championships back in the early 90s. Like this was a big game. Tom Osborne, when he was the head coach of Nebraska, and then Coach McIntyre for Colorado. This was a big game at one point. Well, it's still a big game because Nebraska 1-0, taking on Colorado at Colorado. They're also 1-0. The cheapest ticket to get into that game, by the way, is $184. Nebraska, this is a game that they need to win if they want to prove that they should be ranked. And also, Scott Frost, could this really be a cool, positive thing for Nebraska for them to win this team? Could this be a trendsetter for them moving forward? Because really, Nebraska should be a favorite to win their division in the Big Ten.
Yeah. See, just those ticket prices, it makes you just want to go, whoa. That's how I found the sign.
Yeah, whoa. That's actually a good thing we have props in here. We have footballs. If you're for our Vanderbilt fans out there, anchor down. We have we try to have a little bit of everything in this small studio. It's not much, but it is home.
We have footballs, we have helmets, we have a baseball bat, we have a Blue Angels thing. I don't know what that mascot is over there.
Yeah, that's like a Wile E. Coyote kind of thing. I think it's like Wiley the Coyote. I think he's a mascot for Arizona, the Arizona Coyotes hockey team. That's a hot take right there.
And we have an LSU cheerleader thing. Doesn't mean that we're picking LSU.
Who remembers the Ice Pilots?
I do.
Hey, our old school.
I have a Ice Pilots hockey stick actually.
Yeah, old school Ice. Ice Flyers is the team now, but they used to be the Ice Pilots. That's how I knew them, and sometimes I still refer to them that way.
Yeah,
by the way,
it's still hard for me and my family because we used to be really heavily associated with the Ice Pilots actually, and so I still forget. I have to take a second to go Ice Flyers. So.
Well, anyways, and actually, I think that season is getting started next month, I want to say. In October, the Ice Flyers are going to be dropping the puck, and hockey's coming back to Pensacola. But first, let's talk about two of the big games going on, and we will start with the number one team in the nation, Clemson, hosting Texas A&M. Both teams 1-0. They both won their first games. Clemson, they won their first game against Georgia Tech. Pretty big. They beat Georgia Tech. They scored 52 to, 3. It wasn't great overall for Georgia Tech. But here is where that game was still intriguing. Trevor Lawrence, even though, yes, it was still a big win for Clemson, Trevor Lawrence was very inconsistent, did not look comfortable. He was very sloppy in that ball game, but it almost seemed like, to me, he thought the game was going to be a little too easy, and he wasn't as locked in as maybe we thought. Now, he would probably dispute that, but it just didn't seem like he took that game as serious as he probably should have. Travis Etienne, though, took that game pretty serious, over 200 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns. He's in the conversation now as an early Heisman. This game is going to be obviously different than Georgia Tech. Texas A&M, Kellen Mond, junior quarterback, who I think is a very talented quarterback, and maybe even give him one more year.
Yeah, he gets better and better. He gets better and better every game. And I think next year it's going to be a good year for Texas A&M. I think they give Bama a run for their money out in the West. I really do, because Jimbo Fisher he's building, and you gotta love that. Because even Saban, when he started at Bama, he started off a little bit slow. He's getting slapped around a little bit, but then he built. I think Jimbo Fisher, I can expect the same thing from him.
So in this game, Clemson's heavily favored. Okay, they're the number 1 team in the nation. They're back at home. Trevor Lawrence is their quarterback. Travis Etienne's their running back. They have a pretty good defense. Look, I want to go ahead and give an argument for Texas A&M real quick. Okay, first off, the line is favoring Clemson 16.5 points. Okay, right as of right now in Las Vegas or in Biloxi, Texas A&M is winning this ball game right now by 16.5 points. A part of me wants to say that Texas A&M can cover. Now, I'm going to hold off and give my final prediction, but I think this game is going to be a closer game than what people are giving Texas A&M credit for. I think that they have a really good offense. I think that their offense, led by Kellen Mond, this is a very good team. They have a solid running back out of Spiller. I'm not Isaiah Spiller. I am not completely familiar with this whole team. The receiving core, I know Courtney Davis is one of their top receivers. Very talented receiver, by the way. Look, this could be a good game. This can stay a close game. But here's what needs to happen first. This is the first thing I'm noticing is that Travis Etienne is their top running back.
Yes.
Travis Etienne on 12 carries had 206 rushing yards. If they can at least minimize those big rushes, those big long rushes that he had last week against Georgia Tech, look, you're forcing Trevor Lawrence to play a better football game.
Hold on. But you also got to mention Justin Ross here. He's also one of he's
for Clemson.
Yes, he's their biggest target here. But here's the thing. I think Saban, he'll definitely be watching this game after his game today. He'll go back. He'll be watching this game, because now it just seems that he plays these two teams every year. I think if we see weaknesses be exposed, by Clemson this year, if we see weaknesses get exposed in their team, it's going to be this game, because I don't think anyone in the ACC is going to expose any sort of weakness of Clemson. So this is probably one of the best games to watch if you're Saban, because one, you play Texas A&M every year, of course, and then you also seem to play Clemson every year apparently in the playoffs. So this is something that it's going to be good to watch this game, because you'll see a lot happen for Clemson. Now, something I'd watch for Trevor Lawrence is his pre-snap reads. He's had trouble with his pre-snap reads a lot. He's not watching the DBs as well, and he's making bad throws or just making mental mistakes, which I think he'll get better as the season goes on. I think he'll change that and fix that. But right now, he's still struggling a little bit. I think that's why today's game, it's going to be a really significant close game.
Texas A&M, look, you want to say out loud, oh no, they can go in and they can absolutely they can beat Clemson. Like, you're saying that if you're a Texas A&M fan. Now I'm going to sit here and be realistic that they have an uphill climb. They do, literally. Like, they may have to go up that hill and pass that rock. This is going to be a tough game for them already. Like, that's not a surprise. Clemson's a very tough team, especially defensively. And also, I do want to give this point that I believe that Trevor Lawrence coming into this ball game, he's taking this game extremely serious. Again, he takes every game serious, I'm sure, but you always have a mindset of, okay, this game right here has been circled on my calendar. I am ready to beat this team. And I imagine that's Trevor Lawrence's attitude towards Texas A&M, because don't sleep on him. Don't sleep on a second-year Jimbo Fisher. Don't sleep on Kellen Mond. He's a very capable quarterback. This is a good team. Texas A&M, they are a better defense than Georgia Tech. Defensively, I think this will be a better game. Clemson, they're going to have a little bit more struggle, but I also think that their game plan is going to be right for this game. They are taking this game more serious. I have a hard time believing that Trevor Lawrence is going to have another rough game, because if he does have another rough game, then it's kind of like, okay, like, where's the Trevor Lawrence that is like the highly recruited number 2 overall quarterback that won a national championship as a true freshman? Like, is he going to have a sophomore slump this season, or turn on your mic?
Sophomore slump is very well known, and it happens to a lot of people. I can't think of a name right now, but I can't remember who it was, but someone had a big sophomore slump after coming off a huge freshman season.
It's DeAndre Francois. He got injured.
Oh yeah.
If that's who you're thinking of.
No, but it's someone I can't think of. I'll try and think of it later. But I don't think that's going to happen with Trevor Lawrence, just because of how athletic he is. He's an athletic quarterback. You don't like this guy. He'll chase you down if you intercept his pass. He'll make sure he tackles you. Yeah, you're not getting to the end zone if you intercept his pass.
So this game's getting kicked off 2:30 ABC right after the Ohio State-Cincinnati game, which a quick update on that game, 14-0 still against Cincinnati. They have the ball back. Also, Syracuse scored against Maryland, 28-13. Missouri, though, and I want to spend like a second to talk about this game.
We need to talk about this West Virginia-Missouri game because we haven't talked about it. These two, both their first games were terrible. Missouri lost
to Wyoming, but
Yeah.
West Virginia won.
They by 7 at James Madison. Like,
Yeah.
come on, man.
Yeah,
20-13.
Austin Kendall has already thrown 2 interceptions.
Come on,
and
man.
Kelly Bryant's playing well. Like, Kelly Bryant's playing good football at the moment. 9 for 13, 91 yards, and touchdown. Just picked up a good gain for a first down. Missouri's marching. They're on their 15-yard line. Right, they're on West Virginia's 15-yard line. Looks like they're about to score again. 1st and 10. Missouri really coming out hot against West Virginia. Now, West Virginia is another one of those teams, though. They don't have a defense.
Yeah.
Like, they have
it's Big 12.
no defense.
Home with no defense. I call it the home with no defense for a reason. Like, they don't have one.
Like, West Virginia was such a disappointing team last year because they were another one of those teams that they were bit by the Iowa State upset bug, and they had such a good offense led by Will Grier to where they could have been like a one-loss team to Oklahoma at the end of the year, which that was a shootout. Kyler Murray, though, ran and threw all over them. Like, West Virginia could have been such a better team, and defensively they just couldn't get it together.
Yeah. They lost to Texas and Oklahoma and Iowa State last year.
Like, those are like Texas and Oklahoma. Those are games that I see. I'm like, okay, yeah, you probably should have lost that game.
Yeah.
I think did they lose to Oklahoma State also?
I think at the end of the season, I'll pull up the schedule. I think it was towards the end of the season.
Like, Oklahoma State was such a mediocre team the entire season. I think they had 5 or 6 wins despite putting up like 500 yards a game.
But they did make it. They did make it to a bowl game.
They did make it to a bowl game where I think
they played Missouri. Yeah, they lost. Yeah, I remember this game against Oklahoma State. They lost 45-41, and then West Virginia went and lost 59-56 to number 6 Oklahoma. And what am I saying? They didn't lose to Texas. They beat Texas because they went for a 2-point conversion on that last touchdown.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. I forgot about that. Well, either way,
that's why Texas was in. That's why they were nowhere near playoffs, and they actually ruined Texas's chances of really making playoffs with that game. Because Texas, they were heavily favored, a top 10 team at the time, and then they just dropped out of contention completely after that. But Grier, he threw 539 yards against Oklahoma. I am just not reading.
Insane how many yards get put up in these games. That they're entertaining to watch. Don't get me wrong.
That's what I like.
As like a fan,
here's the thing: Big 12, it's awesome. Like it's great for entertainment. Like, it's the most entertaining conference. There's no defense, extremely good offenses, and then you have Gus Johnson commentating these games.
Oh, yeah, because, dude, put Gus Johnson in a game where, like, touchdowns are just being slung all over the place. It's amazing. You are entertained by Gus Johnson. And, by the way, Missouri did score a touchdown. Kelly Bryant throwing his second touchdown pass of the second half.
Yeah,
10 for 14,
They beat Missouri. They beat Missouri in that bowl game last year in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, 38-33.
Oh, yeah, in a
Which
game that
I was very surprised about that game because I thought Missouri would really beat them, would hold them off because they have a better defense than them just overall. And then they lost. I was just like, why?
Missouri coming out really hot in this first half, so we'll see how this game goes.
I feel like we're seeing the old Kelly Bryant.
We'll continue to give updates. Ohio State scored another touchdown. Same with Maryland. They both scored another touchdown. Both of these teams look like they're going to, so far, Ohio State, I believe, is going to run away with their game. Maryland, Syracuse, we'll see. Syracuse is trying to fight back. Army and Michigan, they're still tied. Virginia Tech is beating Old Dominion 10-3, which Old Dominion upset Virginia Tech last year. And Iowa is defeating Rutgers at the moment, 14-0. At the end of this break, though, we will finally get into the discussion of LSU, Texas. That is a big
and
game.
You had Matthew McConaughey, the guest picker today.
Game day was there. Who did Lee Corso pick? We'll tell you. You're listening to Sports Call with Davis and Justin on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Dave Ramsey here. A home is a great investment. And whether you're buying a home to live in or as a rental property, great floors are a must to keep up that investment. The Floor Store on 9 Mile in Pensacola has great brand name flooring like Mohawk, Cortec, Dreamweaver, Shaw, and more. Plus, the Floor Store sells and installs wood floors, tile, luxury vinyl, and carpet. And they do showers and baths, kitchens and backsplashes, mosaic tiles, and and fireplaces. The Floor Store's designer, Andrea, loves flooring. She designs your flooring to create the biggest impact and durability. But when you buy flooring, you might want it installed right, and that's where Rodney comes in. He came to the Floor Store bringing over 30 years experience as a residential contractor. The right quality, the right design, and the right installation. The Floor Store, located at 312 East 9 Mile Road. Check them out at shopthefloorstore.com.
I'm really hungry, but I don't want to spend a fortune.
Well, you're in luck. Now you can get Denny's Super Slam with 2 eggs, 2 bacon strips, 2 sausage links, hash browns, and 2 pancakes, all for just $5.99.
That is a great deal. So I get all of that for just $5.99?
You sure do.
Wow, this meal just keeps getting better and better.
Some might say super.
I see what you did there.
The $5.99 Super Slam is back. See you at Denny's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. No substitutions.
Bands on the Beach. Every Tuesday night, the sugar white sands of Pensacola Beach turn into your personal dance floor with cool grooves and hot tunes. So grab a towel, grab a chair, grab a cooler, and skip the Netflix binge watching and live a little. Bands on the Beach, brought to you by the Santa Rosa Island Authority.
This Tuesday night, it's Chloe Chanel. You may have seen her on America's Got Talent, and she's going to play all your country favorites at Bands on the Beach.
Every Tuesday night at Bands on the Beach.
Chad Brillante is all about sports.
Man, you see one of those guys like Aaron Judge, I'm sure he can throw a 98-mile-per-hour fastball and all. You can't do both.
The majors, the minors, the hometown pros.
And Miguel Sano is not going to hit a home run into the lake when he was down here. Because I was like, nobody's hit the ball into the burn, pretty much into the water out there behind Palafox, and he did.
The Sports Drive, 5 to 7 weekdays on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
At ESPN Pensacola 1330 FM 99.1, we are football. Catch the biggest high school football games on Fridays. Every UWF game on Saturdays. Then on Sundays, get ready for big games with the NFL Tailgate Show from 10 till noon. Plus, talk football with Coach K weekdays from noon till 1, recapping the games and breaking down the upcoming matchups. It's football season, and it's on ESPN Pensacola 1330 FM 99.1.
Oh, you know you're fired up. Tequila. Oh, that's exactly what we need here on this Saturday. Well, not really. I'm drinking water. I think Justin's drinking like Dr. Pepper or something. You're underage, so you're not drinking any tequila anytime soon. I'm above age, but I just don't really want tequila right now. I'd rather soberly run a radio show. Lord knows where the show would go. If
you'd be on the top of the table right now.
Oh yeah, and I'd be fired.
Yeah.
All right, so the biggest matchups today going on. But first, before we get to LSU, Texas, we just got done talking about Texas A&M and Clemson. Army had just scored a touchdown over Michigan, so 14-7 in that ball game. They're getting close to halftime. Still 21-0. Ohio State over Cincinnati. Iowa added a field goal over Rutgers, 17-0 in that ball game. Missouri, like we mentioned before, still the same, 17-0. And Northern Illinois currently holding a lead over Utah, 7-0 in that ball game.
Maryland is also up 35-13, and we're still in the first half, ladies and gentlemen.
And Syracuse has the ball. They are marching down the field right now. Although
third and 8.
They're on their own 34-yard line. So we'll continue to give updates as these games are going on. But first, the game of the day easily is LSU and Texas. This is going to be a game that
I think West Virginia, Missouri gives it a pretty good run. Come on.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. You're just wasting time now. No, that's just oh man, that's just awful. No, so LSU. Hey, if it was a good game, maybe, but LSU and Texas.
It's nowhere near it.
On paper, this is the best game to watch, and also LSU. according to ESPN's matchup predictor, are heavily favored to win this ball game. 80 to 20% is favoring LSU over Texas, and it's in Texas. So there's a lot that goes into this game, and of course, we're going to wait to give our picks until the end of the game, and this is a game where I'm kind of back and forth. Tickets are going as low as $347.
Yeah,
that's understandable.
Like the second most expensive game of the year. It's this game.
This game is really expensive, but also this is going to be a game that I think is going to have some offense. I expect a defensive battle in this game. I don't want to say it's going to be like the Auburn-Oregon game where it's fairly sloppy overall. No, there's a lot of experience on both sides of the ball. Joe Burrow, now an experienced quarterback in his second season with LSU. Sam Ehlinger has been the starting quarterback at Texas since his true freshman year, where he actually shared time at the quarterback position, but he has since emerged as a really, really talented quarterback. And also, he said it after they beat Georgia in the Sugar Bowl, "We're back." Yes, so are they back? Yeah. They got to beat LSU tonight, and they got to do it at home. Like, this is the best setup.
I remember when Texas beat Notre Dame a couple years ago, and I just remember the commentator going, "Texas is back on top."
That was a terrible game, though.
No, they weren't. They're nowhere near back on top.
Notre Dame had like 3 wins that year, and Texas didn't even have that great of a season. That was a terrible game.
Yeah, it was an atrocious game. I remember there was this one running back who I just loved watching play because his name was pretty cool. Swoops, DeAndre Swoops.
Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
I think he moved. I think he ended up becoming a tight end.
Yeah, he transferred, but he was still fun to watch run the ball because he's a big guy. But Matthew McConaughey was today's guest picker for game day, and he was actually. He arrived in Texas fashion, baby. Oh my, just this nice.
Dude, he's also a teacher now.
Yes, he is. And see, I've always liked Matthew McConaughey because he really helped put up the We Are Marshall movie on top. And if you guys know me, I am from Huntington, West Virginia, and Marshall is my home pretty much. And Marshall, we lost last night. It was a close game. I don't want to talk about it. I'm kind of upset about it.
Boise State 14-7.
But here's the thing: we were very heavily underestimated going into that game. We had a 13% chance of winning that game, and we held that team pretty evenly matched the entire way through. Our defense played outstanding. Back to this game though: Texas and LSU. Corso, he put on the tiger head. Matthew McConaughey took the tiger head off and threw it into the crowd. That was pretty funny.
Be fragile with Lee Corso. Okay,
yeah.
He's an old man.
He's getting old, man.
He's already had one stroke.
I've never seen someone do that though, so that's the first for me.
Oh man, Matthew McConaughey. Yeah, he looks like Indiana Jones kind of.
Oh yeah,
he's got the hat on, and look, I'm giving Texas way more credit than I'm actually shocked that LSU is so heavily favored in this game. The spread favors them by 6.5.
It's the defense, man. Look, that's why.
I'm shocked that actually Texas isn't getting more love. Am I missing something here?
Now it's the Big 12 and no defense. I mean that's the only thing why. I mean, I love Sam Ehlinger. I love this team. They are my favorite to be the dark horse to make the playoffs.
But it's clear what they're banking on. They're banking on LSU taking advantage of a weak Texas defense, which, by the way, I think the Texas defense is a stronger defense in the Big 12. And also they're expecting LSU's defense, which is strong, to be able to handle Texas's offense.
But here's the thing. Both these teams beat a very good Georgia team last year. Remember that. They both did.
Now granted, I will defend Georgia to an extent that they didn't think they needed to even be there. They thought they were going to go to a playoff.
Exactly. They thought they should have been there. And see, Georgia shot themselves in the foot because Texas wouldn't really be talked about right now if Georgia came out and played that game right. Because Georgia would have won that game. Texas wouldn't be talked about this dark horse of making the playoffs right now, in my opinion. Georgia should have won that game last year. But the reason why this is such a big game is because they beat Georgia last year, and LSU, they beat UCF, and they had a good season last year. But I love Sam Ehlinger. He's probably one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch right now just because of how tough he is. He's probably like my most entertaining quarterback because he can run the ball, and he's got a good arm too. I love watching him play. He's tough.
You know, the over and under in this ball game between Texas and LSU is 57. And a part of me wants to take the under. And normally I favor the over. A part of me wants to take the under because I think that there is enough defense in this game to where it can stay fairly low. Like, it's one of those, it's like, ooh, that's a good over and under because it's like, it could go either way, right? Like, either way, Texas has the ability to put up points, but they are facing a good defense out of LSU. LSU is taking on a defense of Texas, but they're going to be also, I think their offense is so high-powered. I think they have a very, very good and efficient offense. Tom Herman, a great coach. Coach Orgeron for LSU is like the nation's the nation's most favorite coaches based on
the way he talks.
his personality. We're going to go down there, LSU, and beat them.
Maryland on Syracuse's 6th, on first and goal with a minute left in the first half, knocking again. If they score here, I just don't think Syracuse comes back.
Yeah, to put up 42 points in the first half, which
and
wide
touchdown.
open receiver.
Anthony McFarland. He's been killing them all day, man. Like, what do you want? Like, yeah, Syracuse. I'm happy I didn't pick you because I know you guys didn't have this game, and you guys must have really not want to bet on game day because you got where's it at, man? You're playing at home, and they're just in shock right now.
Hey, you know what? Keep an eye on Maryland, then. They could be a team that could be doing something
that's why I
in
said
the ACC.
Maryland, they're a young team that's getting better and better every year. And I think that's Anthony McFarland's 3rd touchdown. Yeah. He's got 2 receptions for 45 yards, and he's got 11 carries for 62 yards with 2 touchdowns.
All right, so going back to the Texas-LSU game real quick, one of the reasons why I'm also hesitant to favor LSU in this game, because this is going to be a good game. I always have a tough time really buying into LSU. And again, by trade, I'm a Gator fan, so whenever LSU and Florida play each other, you can imagine the direction I'm going to go. Although I always, especially on this job, I always try to stay as level-headed as I possibly can. And I'll be realistic. Last year, I predicted that Georgia was going to beat Florida because, I don't want to I don't want to be unrealistic.
I picked in Missouri. I picked Missouri to beat Florida last year.
Yeah, I did not. I actually thought Florida was going to win that
game.
No,
I didn't because we just never beat them.
They just looked ugly in that ball game. But LSU, I always have a tough time really buying into this program. I think there are certain weaknesses. Joe Burrow is a competent quarterback. He can manage a ball game, but he's not the quarterback. I think Sam Ehlinger, when it comes to who's a better quarterback, Sam Ehlinger is a better quarterback hands down. Now, to my LSU fans out there, you probably disagree with me wholeheartedly, but that's fine. You're an LSU fan. I could tell you right now, I don't think Felipe Franks is a better quarterback than Sam Ehlinger. I think there are a lot of quarterbacks way better than Felipe Franks, and that's another conversation for another time because really Florida's taking on UT Martin. And I think it's safe to say, just like Alabama, just like Auburn against Tulane, these are games that are expected to be victories for the favorites. So Florida, Auburn, Alabama, Georgia against Murray State, I can tell you right now, it looks like those are going to be victories. As Georgia gets ready for the game against Notre Dame next week, and we are going to definitely talk about that game next week.
That's also one of the top 5 most expensive games ever. That's very understandable why.
It's understandable.
But the thing is, Notre Dame versus Louisville could have won that game. They would, but they shot themselves in the foot multiple times. I'm not
turnovers, 3 fumbles in a row.
I'm not impressed with Louisville. I mean, with Notre Dame.
Were you impressed with Notre Dame last year?
No,
I wasn't.
No, I mean,
their season just wasn't. Their schedule,
their strength of schedule was nothing.
No, but thing is though, they played big name teams last year. But those big-name teams
were on their downside.
Had bad seasons.
They were on their downside.
Florida State was there. They played Florida State at Notre Dame. My parents were at that game. Actually, no, they didn't go to the game.
They were at the pub, at a bar. Right?
We have family friends who own a bar just outside of that campus. It's called Mulligan's, by the way. So if anytime you're up there, we had one of our sales managers here was up at the game. He went and hung out with my dad up there. Our former mayor, Mike Wiggins of Pensacola, he was up there. Tried to get into that bar, but they were too packed because it was so flipping cold out there. But Notre Dame played big name teams. They played big-name teams that didn't have
weren't having
seasons.
good seasons.
So, but anyways, to wrap up the LSU-Texas conversation, again, we're going to, like we always do, we're going to hold off our predictions for these big games till the very end of the show. But this is going to be the best game of the night. LSU favored by 6.5. The over and under is at 57. A part of me says take the under. Although this is a game where I'm so in the middle. I wouldn't really want to make that bet. I just don't feel good about it at the moment. But again, LSU heavily favored against Texas. We'll see. It's going to be a big one.
What are some other games that you kind of look forward to? Because there's still
Nebraska, Colorado. Okay. I'm really looking forward to.
What about California and Washington?
So, no, I don't. I think Washington's going to win that game. The only reason why I'm paying attention to Washington right now is because Jacob Eason, he was a big name quarterback at Georgia. He was the #1 quarterback in the nation. He had done good things at Georgia. He was the starting quarterback in his sophomore season, but then he gets hurt. And then here comes Jake Fromm, and Jake Fromm ends up leading them to the national championship, where they eventually lose to Alabama. But Jacob Eason is still that solid quarterback. I thought he had a good, solid game for Washington last week, and now they're taking on a team like Berkeley. I like them.
Yeah.
Easily.
Okay. Well, all right. So what about Miami and North Carolina today?
So this was a game that we were mentioning on the podcast earlier. Miami played well, I thought, against Florida.
They
but
did.
Florida does.
I'm very impressed with Jaron Williams.
Jaron Williams for a freshman quarterback. He didn't really take a whole lot of big shots against the Gators. None really whatsoever. He played it almost, like trying to keep him comfortable. He didn't really take any big risk. He played the safe passes, and that's okay. This is a guy who beat out Tate Martell. I like Miami in this ball game, although North Carolina did win their first game against South Carolina, which led to Mac Brown doing the little dance.
Yep.
He did in the locker room. It was actually kind of funny. Kind of had a little bit of swagger to him. Look at Coach Mac go. I like Miami in this ball game, although it is at North Carolina. I do want to see how they progress throughout this season with Manny Diaz as their coach, and I think the future of Miami is honestly pretty bright. Are they the youth?
With Jaron Williams, you can build off this kid tremendously. You can go out next year, get some good weapons to go off of for wide receivers, and you can get a couple linebackers and a D lineman. Hey, we might be looking at a team that might be able to compete for a conference championship. Nothing big, though, nothing crazy. But Miami and North Carolina, it's definitely a game to watch. For college pick'em, it's where they give 10 games for you to pick. It's a little kind of like a bowl mania thing that ESPN has. And this is one of the games on here. Also, a BYU and Tennessee, same thing. I don't know how I feel about that game. Not going to be honest.
So BYU Tennessee, I will wait till the end of the show to give my prediction because that is a closely contested matchup. Both teams lost their first games. Now, granted, BYU lost to a team that they were expected to lose to out of Utah, while Tennessee was embarrassed by Georgia State. But they're at Tennessee, and they sell alcohol in the stadium. So we'll see how that goes for them.
What's that have to do with anything, though?
I don't know. Happier, or maybe even more depressed fans. When we come back, though, there was a football game on Thursday, and it wasn't UWF. The NFL season is finally back. We will talk about that game. I'll be honest, I watched a good amount of it, and then I fell asleep, and I didn't really miss anything. No. That's coming up. And we're going to give you our winners and losers from the week here on Sports Call with Davis and Justin on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Pensacola Honda and Gulf Winds Credit Union are teaming up to give you a great deal on a new or used vehicle and a great rate. Friday the 13th and 14th, enjoy live music on Saturday 12 to 4 and food trucks here on both days. All credit applications accepted. Any type of credit welcome. Get a really nice new or used ride at Pensacola Honda, home of the one price, low price guarantee. Rates, terms, and incentives subject to change and based on credit score. Visit GoGulfWinds.com for loan details. Federally insured by NCUA.
Just felt there's a huge need in Pensacola to bring foot and ankle services, specifically orthopedic foot and ankle services, to this area. There's so much growth in Pensacola. I wanted a freestanding orthopedic foot and ankle center to do this, and as far as I can tell, this is the only one really in the country that's freestanding. Most orthopedic surgeons are part of a multi-specialty group. So we offer on-site x-rays, on-site CT scan, and on-site MRI. They can come to one place.
Visit NielsenOrthopedics.com to reserve your appointment today.
I'm Troy Rafferty, and many of you know about my love for sports and my longtime support for our local high school athletes. One thing these fine young people have taught me over the years is this: whether it's on the ball field, in the classroom, or in a court of law, always work your hardest and achieve the best results possible. And that is the commitment we make to our clients and our community.
Levin Papantonio in Pensacola since 1955.
Well, you want to see a Broadway show, but New York City just isn't in the cards.
Broadway's coming to you. Get your tickets now for the 2019-2020 Broadway season at the Sanger Theater. See amazing Broadway touring shows like Jersey Boys, Cats, The Color Purple, Beautiful, An American in Paris, and Waitress for a third of the cost you would pay on Broadway. See actual Broadway shows right here in downtown Pensacola. Get all the details at PensacolaSanger.com.
There's a lot going on right now, and broadcasters are on the ground covering all of it, bringing you the weather, the traffic, and breaking news, all while entertaining you 24 hours a day. Someone needs to tell you what's going on around the world and in our hometowns. And that someone is us. We are free radio. We are always there. We are broadcasters. Visit wearebroadcasters.com or text radio to 52886 to learn more. Furnished by NAB and this station.
ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Hey, are you on Facebook? Then go to ESPN Pensacola's Facebook page, and then you can watch this show live. We always stream all of our live shows, as well as Talk Football with Coach K and the Sports Drive with Chad Brillante. You can also catch the Sports Drive on Blab TV from 5 to 7. Dude, we're radio, but we're also live on, well, I guess on your computer. Anyways, we are talking all things football today because it's football season. Football season is back. We've all been missing this. We've been craving it. And the NFL got underway on Thursday, and we were treated to an outstanding 10-3 Packers victory over the Chicago Bears. Where
Game of the year. Game of the year.
So I will say, early in the game, early in that ball game, one thing that stood out to me was, dude, that Chicago Bears defensive line and linebackers are just brutalizing
it's going to be
Aaron Rodgers.
Fun season for them.
Like defensively, that was a really fun game to watch. Just Aaron Rodgers struggled, but also it's not that he struggled because he had a bad game. I would more say he was pressured. He couldn't get comfortable in the game. So if you like a good defensive game, just like the Super Bowl, this might have been the game for you. This might have been the game for you.
Chicago's going to have a great season this year. I'm expecting another playoff run. And I'm expecting them to make a field goal this time and not struggle a lot. But I think Chicago might threaten for an NFC Championship appearance, honestly. They're definitely in that running for me. I mean, I know they lost, but they show a lot of promise. Mitchell Trubisky is a great guy to build off of, and you can rely on, and so is Tariq Cohen. He's a great running back as well. You can do a lot with him. And Khalil Mack, you're pretty much your overall team leader. There's so much this team has for room for adjustments. Their season's going to be great. I'm just going to point that out right now.
No, first season for new Packers head coach Matt LaFleur. By all accounts, Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur, they think a lot alike. They're on the same page, which is good. That's exactly what you want, especially with a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers. He did throw one touchdown to Jimmy Graham, and good. He had to kind of make a basketball move in order to make that catch because it was a ball thrown into a crowd. But Jimmy Graham being 6'8" and being able to manage his frame, use it to your advantage, manage to win the ball game 10-3. A lot of defense in this ball game for sure, and Mitchell Trubisky just couldn't get anything going offensively for the Bears. It just was ugly. But I will give a shout-out, and I'm going to transition this to being my winner because we are doing winners and losers today as well. I didn't mean to really jump into it this fast, but it's just sort of segued this way.
Our quick hit could kind of just be our first segment, honestly.
Yeah, but we're gonna cover our quick hits next segment. Those are the stories that we didn't get a chance to talk to during the show. We'll get our quick hits then. But Eddie Pinheiro, former Florida Gator kicker, this is a guy.
I loved this guy on social media.
This is a guy who became YouTube famous, social media famous because he was a soccer player at a community college in Miami. But then he's hitting 70-plus yard field goals. All of a sudden, he never played a day of college. He never played a day of football. Never played a day of football. He was a soccer player, right? But he's kicking all these field goals, 70-plus yards, 73-yard field goal is what he became known for. He was YouTube famous for that. And Alabama ends up offering him, and he declares, he's like, yeah, I'm going Alabama. No way I'm going anywhere else. He's I am full-time Alabama. Well, then here comes the Florida Gators. And he ends up going to the Gators. Instantly a fan favorite. This guy is a ball of energy. He gets fired up. He throws his arms up in the air. He wore Tim Tebow's number 15 jersey. So if you're going to wear that jersey, you better be able to live up to the energy.
He actually probably made a lot more people excited for Florida season. People were looking forward to that season because of a kicker. Like,
yeah,
I just want to realize, realize that.
Florida was also coming off a year where their kicking was so bad that they had to have an open tryout where a dental student who was the valedictorian of Chamberlain High School in Tampa. This guy was the valedictorian of Chamberlain. He's at Florida going to dental school. He was a kicker for his high school team. He goes out and tries out and makes the team. And this guy actually ends up being the kicker for the Gators for a little bit because they were so bad.
Was it the Kentucky
kicking.
game he kicked in, I think?
I think it was later. I think it was later in the game. But yeah, anyways, to have Eddie Pinheiro for the Gators was awesome because first off, he was hitting those big field goals. He was hitting 50-plus yard field goals and getting all excited, throwing his arms up in the air. He became a fan favorite. He leaves after 2 seasons, which is sad because he had more eligibility, but he left early to pursue the NFL. And he goes to San Diego because I think they were Los Angeles then. Yeah, so he goes to Los Angeles, suffers an injury, doesn't play at all. And so the Chicago Bears, we all know about Cody Parkey.
Yes.
We know about the kicking issues that about led the city of Chicago to flip upside down.
Yes.
And I love Chicago, by the way. A wonderful city. I've been there a couple of times. I love the city of Chicago.
Yeah,
I went to a Cubs game. Great city.
And the Chicago, if you're like a player for their sports team and you mess up, you will forever be remembered in their legacy for good. Because you screwed up really bad, and now Chicago fans just don't like you. It's the same way with the Cubs. I mean, I was watching the Peyton's Places, the NFL 100 anniversary celebration on ESPN Plus, and it was the Bears episode. The Bears, and they just don't like Cody Parkey. They joke they just make jokes about this guy forever now, and. Well, it's because you're in Chicago, and Chicago is a tough place to play.
But Eddie Pinheiro was one of 9 kickers that tried out for the Chicago Bears. One of 9 kickers to have tried out. Eddie Pinheiro gets the job. He then makes his first field goal. He makes his first attempt, a 38-yard field goal. I think it was in the Bears' first drive. Hits it right down the middle for his first ever kick in the NFL. So my winner goes to Eddie Pinheiro for nailing that field goal. Now, as for my loser, I'm actually not sure at the moment because I already know what your loser is. And it's obvious what my loser would be.
But I kind of need it because
you deserve it because you've been blowing up my phone all week long about Antonio Brown.
Well, I said everything I send you that I think is going to be important. That's why I send it to you. It's because I'm like, okay, this is something we might need to talk about. It's pretty big news. I want to send it to Davis. That's what I do. And I know, when we had our sports call group chat, that's what I would always do. If I saw something big, I just click share and send it to that group chat, and I'll just send it to you, of course. But that's how the whole thing works. But Antonio Brown just kept popping up on my phone. I don't know why.
Yeah, and it's just popping up on your phone over and over and over and over again, and it's for obvious reasons. So with that, while I still look for my loser, go ahead and let me know your winner because I already know what your loser is.
My winner is actually going to be the New England Patriots because here's why. David Andrews, he is missing the season because of blood clots. He's been their leader, one of the biggest leaders and veterans for this team for the longest time. He's an O-lineman for this team, and he can't play. But the Patriots announced their captains the other day, a couple days ago, and they still had David Andrews as a captain, even though he's hospitalized and is nowhere near with the team right now. He's still the captain just because of his leadership and how much of a veteran he is, and that's just a class act by the Patriots, and it's just a Patriot thing to do, and that's why they're going to be my winner.
All right, I got my loser. My loser is the Buccaneers locker room, and here's why.
Oh, God.
So there was one season, a couple of years ago, there was an illness going on around the locker room, and it was like a staph infection, and half the team ended up getting really sick because of something that had to do with what was on the floor of the locker room. So if you walked around with no shoes on, which is very common in a locker room, you got this infection.
See, that's
so
why
a lot of
mom,
the team got sick.
When I started middle school, my mom was like, "You will not walk around barefoot in that locker room." I don't know what's in that's why I started middle school too. I thought it was kind of.
There were a couple of times where I walked around barefoot in the locker room. At some point when you're in a locker room, especially when you spend a lot of time in a locker room, that's going to happen. Well, now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 5th overall draft pick, Devin White, linebacker, is possibly not going to play on Sunday against the 49ers because of an illness that him and many other players on the Buccaneers are currently suffering. There's a bug, as they're calling it, a virus bug.
Came from LSU, right?
Yeah, he went to LSU. Great linebacker out of LSU.
Linebacker.
Third bug now going around. Third player affected by this quote-unquote bug, as Bruce Arians is putting it. Now Mike, top wide receiver, Pro Bowl wide receiver Mike Evans, he missed practice because of the same ailment. And now outside linebacker Damone Harris.
He's good too. He's pretty good.
Yeah, he's an outside linebacker. He's been questionable because of this illness. So the Buccaneers need to get their locker room down, man. They need to stop spreading illnesses. They need to stop spreading infections, and they need to sanitize and stay healthy. The Buccaneers, I need a winning season out of you. I am a Bucs fan, but there is also another team that I desperately need a win out of. So yesterday, I made my national radio debut.
Now,
Justin, go ahead and do me the honors.
And also, each week, a different host from ESPN Radio from around the country is going to make their pick in our Survivor pool. Here is their Week 1 pick.
Golic and Wingo, Survivor Pool, featured guest picker.
What's going on, everybody? This is Davis Allen from ESPN Pensacola, and my pick for the Golic and Wingo Survivor Pool is Kansas City over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Go Chiefs!
Wow. Wow. That is that might be the toughest game on the board week 1, and Pensacola is swinging with Hall of Famer Patrick Mahomes.
All right, that was Davis Allen from Pensacola.
Yeah.
Wow, that is...
Listen, if he pulls that respect. Stu, that you got to admit that's a heavyweight right out of the gate.
No, it is. Crazy. Like, there has to be better opportunities to take the Chiefs somewhere along the way than to do it week 1 on the road against Jacksonville. Trey, maybe like you, he's trying to get knocked out.
I was about to say, it sounds like he just wants to be done with this. He does understand he can't pick the Chiefs now for the rest of the season, right? We're clear that Davis understands the rules here.
Well, he doesn't care. It's a celebrity. Oh, well, no, he'll pick all year, but we'll get other ESPN hosts around the country to pick. So he's just taking his one. That's a tough one, though.
Shoot, man. Wow. Davis, I want Davis chucking that three-pointer with the money on the line if he's going down that road in week 1, I'll tell you that much. All right, Stu, we'll try not to coordinate outfits next week, and we'll see what happens with the survival pool. I'm all in on your Jets.
All right, and fortunately, Trey, if you get this done, you won't have to pick the Jets the remainder of the year. Congratulations.
Right, that's true.
Now you're with me.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see what happens. Don't forget to listen to Stugotz. The Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz follows us on ESPN Radio and also on ESPN News.
That aired yesterday on Golic and Wingo, which you can hear on ESPN Pensacola 1330, 99.1 FM, Monday through Friday between the times of 5 and 9 a.m. And how this all got set up, by the way, is I was in a meeting with ESPN marketing, the ESPN marketing team, and I had a question, and they said that whoever asked the first question is going to be featured on the Survivor Pool. Well, I was actually the only one that had a question, so I got picked to be a part of the Survivor Pool. And let me just say that going into this, I'll be honest, I had no idea really what I was doing. I was just told by the producer, just pick a team, pick a team that you want to win. I did not know how this game exactly worked. I do now know how this game works. So I picked Kansas City.
Yeah, I kind of like. You need to explain this a little bit more to me.
I picked Kansas City to beat Jacksonville. Now, here's how this works. If let's just say Jacksonville, or Kansas City wins, then that I stay alive. I move on to the competition. However, I am not allowed to use Kansas City the rest of the season.
Oh, gosh.
They are one and done.
No, now I see why they went on you so hard.
Any team is one and done. That is why I got that reaction, is because I'm only allowed to pick a team once, so you'd think I would take a team like Kansas City and maybe use them later if I'm still available, if I'm still around.
I guess that's why they call it a survival pool, is because you kind of it's because you want to try. You can't pick these big teams early, these easy games early with these big teams, because you want them in the later the season.
So I will say, and then by the way, I cut off the recording, but if you go off a little bit, if you keep going a little bit longer before they go to commercial break, Trey Wingo's like, Davis, Braveheart, man, that's Braveheart right there. So I need Kansas City to win now, because first off, they were totally dogging me there for a little while, and now I have to be right.
Yeah.
Even though it does suck that I used Kansas City early, now that I know how the game works. And by the way, anyone out there can play along with us. You can go on ESPN.com, go to Golic and Wingo, join their team for the Survivor Pool, and anyone can play. But one radio show host a week from ESPN Radio, like any affiliate, is allowed to come on. Only one gets featured, and I was featured on week 1. And I gotta say, win or lose, that was one of the coolest experiences of my life, getting to actually hear that, because it was recorded. but it was cool getting to go back and listen to that. 623-1330, 623-1330. We are well over. We will need to take a break. Justin,
I need to get my loser real quick. And honestly, if you listen to the first segment, Antonio Brown, yeah, you're the biggest drama queen in sports. I don't like you. You've just been a roller coaster of emotions for me and for the NFL and for the Raiders. And the smart thing for the Raiders, but yeah, you are my loser. Pretty much, you're the biggest loser I've had. So yeah.
Yeah, it honestly is. If I'm the Oakland Raiders, I'm embarrassed that I put up with that for as long as I did.
Yeah.
All right. When we come back, we're going to give you our quick hits. Those are the stories that we did not get a chance to talk about during the length of this show. Also, we have big games that we're going to give you our predictions on. You're listening to Sports Call with Davis and Justin on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
What'd you do this time, Brad?
I'm in the doghouse after my hunting trip last weekend.
Yeah, I was too. I blew off our date for an FSU game.
How'd you get out of the doghouse?
Stillwater's Day and Medical Spa. I got her a gift card. It took 3 minutes at swmedspa.com. She booked it this Saturday.
Saturday? So 9 holes then?
Tee time's at 8.
To enjoy a hassle-free guys' weekend, let her relax at Stillwater's Day and Medical Spa. Visit swmedspa.com. Stillwater's Day and Medical Spa, voted Best Day Spa 8 years in a row.
Does pain have you sidelined on the bench? Clearway Pain Solutions wants you back in the game. Our team of compassionate, board-certified pain specialists, chiropractors, and physical therapists will relieve your pain and restore your function. For comprehensive, patient-centered care, visit a Clearway doctor at one of our convenient locations near you. Call Clearway Pain Solutions today at 855-527-PAIN or visit our website at clearwaypain.com. That's 855-527-PAIN or clearwaypain.com.
I just finished updating my bath with Bath Fitter. Best decision ever. 35 years experience, Bath Fitter knows their stuff. I custom designed the luxury bath I wanted. The color, the style, thousands of options. Luxury hotel quality. Bath Fitter Pensacola did the rest. Installed my bath in less than a day, no demo, no mess, and it's under a lifetime warranty. I love my new bath. Visit bathfitter.com today to book your free in-home consultation and join over 2 million satisfied customers or call 429-1777.
ESPN Pensacola is your home for UWF Argos football. Catch every game, home or away, on Pensacola's home for local sports. The Argos head to Rome, Georgia to take on Shorter University Saturday, September 14th, with airtime starting at noon. Hear all the play-by-play action right here on your home for Argos football and local sports. ESPN Pensacola 1330, FM 99.1. UWF football is presented in part by Summer Vista Assisted Living.
There's a lot going on right now, and broadcasters are on the ground covering all of it, bringing you the weather, the traffic, and breaking news, all while entertaining you 24 hours a day. Someone needs to tell you what's going on around the world and in our hometowns. And that someone is us. We are free radio. We are always there. We are broadcasters. Visit wearebroadcasters.com or text radio to 52886 to learn more. Furnished by NAB and this station.
Talk football every day with Pensacola's own Coach K.
The key on offense is going to be whether Franks can come back and duplicate what he did in the last 4 games.
Every weekday, noon till 1 on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 FM 99.1.
It is football Saturday, and we do have some games that are going on right now. To give you a quick update, Ohio State, they're continuing to take it to Cincinnati. They're at halftime leading 28-0, completely shutting them out in the first half.
Yep.
Iowa 20-0 over Rutgers, while Maryland's continuing to do their thing against Syracuse 42-13. Army and Michigan, they just kicked off the second half. Michigan with the ball down 14-7, while Virginia Tech, they are holding a 7-0 lead. Although I thought it said 10-3 earlier. Maybe that's just an update that needs to happen.
All right,
Utah is winning over NIU 13-7. But now it's time for that part of the game where we do our very, very, very quick hits. Those are the stories that we did not get a chance to talk to you about during the course of the show. Justin, lead us off.
All right, so today on game day, I don't know if you all know WWE, but The Undertaker is probably like the most legendary superstar of all time. and he made an entrance today to start off game day, coming in with his entrance music, just the bells ringing, and then also he was wearing a Texas jersey, Texas shirt, tank top, and just a bunch of gray smoke and fog. And it was just really, it was just a really cool thing. I've never seen that happen on game day. So that's going to be my quick hit, just because I'm trying to really keep it really quick.
Yeah, and mine is we have two brothers that are both in the MLB. There was one brother for the Miami Marlins making his debut, and I'm blanking on his name right now, and I've been trying to look it up, but for some reason Google's not working with me right now. Brother makes major league debut against brother. Anyways, a brother pitcher made a major league debut. The Miami Marlins are taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates, and in his first batter, he faces his brother and strikes out his brother. Parents were looking on, and it was a really cool moment.
Lefty reliever Brian Moran struck out his brother.
Yeah, Colin Moran. So Brian Moran strikes out Colin Moran. He's a lefty sidearm pitcher, which are really tough pitchers to face, by the way. I've struck out a few times against those kinds of pitchers.
I don't like that.
But anyways, the lefty Moran strikes out his brother Colin Moran, who plays for the Pittsburgh Pirates. That's my quick hit. Now it's time to get to the part where we talk about the games. The games. Who's going to win it all? And let's go ahead and do Nebraska against Colorado. Who do you got?
All right, Nebraska and Colorado. I'm going to stick with Nebraska today. I expect Scott Frost and Adrian Martinez to do a lot.
All right, if Nebraska can win this ballgame today, which I think they will, they can move up in the rankings. Colorado, much respect to them. They are a tough team.
All right, BYU and Tennessee. I have BYU winning this game.
I have Tennessee rebounding. I think Tennessee will win this ballgame, but really a rough start for Tennessee in general to lose against Georgia State. Morale can really go down fast, especially for those dedicated fans. I do have Tennessee winning this ballgame, and if they lose, you can buy alcohol in the stadium. All right, UCF and FAU real quick before we get to our two big games.
All right, UCF and FAU?
Yeah.
UCF.
I'm going to give this one to UCF as well. But now let's move on over to the bigger games. Number 1, Clemson. They're going to be hosting number 12, Texas A&M. Who do you got?
Clemson.
All right, I have Clemson in this ball game, but the spread is 16.5. I'm going to say that Texas A&M will cover in this ball game. I do have Clemson winning in this game regardless. And the game of the night, Texas LSU at Texas.
Here's why. LSU's winning this game because they have a defense and they have a good offense. Texas does not have a defense and they have a good offense, but LSU's defense will hold them down. Their DBs are way too good for Sam Ellinger and his weapons.
All right, simple enough. I think Texas is going to win simply because they're going to put more points on the board, but it's going to be a close and fun game. That's going to do it for us. Enjoy the football games. This has been Sports Call with Davis and Justin.
It's almost fall, and that means football. And ESPN Pensacola